Yo, what's up, legends? Welcome back to Sigma MC Manhwa Recaps. If you missed the previous part, no worries. The link's down below in the description. Grab your snacks, sit tight, and if you're enjoying the recaps, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Alright, enough talk. Let's get right into it.
The Demon King, Pedinar, is startled by the hero's sudden appearance. However, he quickly composes himself, chastising the hero for not knowing how to knock and calling him a hero who doesn't know manners. Pedinar's out here demanding door-knocking etiquette like this is a polite neighborly visit, not a boss fight. Our guy smiles, admitting that he was mistaken to think a Demon King would be bored sitting on his throne by himself. Then he asks why it was reported that all the elves outside the Elf Kingdom have been kidnapped. The elf woman with Pedinar calls it an absurd misunderstanding. Suddenly, a status window appears for her, revealing she is a level 482 elf queen with a passionate, embarrassed, furious status. She declares that she and Pedinar are respecting each other and are in a serious relationship. Confused, the hero thinks to himself, but isn't she the Elf King's wife? Elf Queen and Demon King in a love story? Kang Han-soo just stumbled into Fantasia's juiciest gossip column. Meanwhile, a flashback shows a furious Sylvia from the first round, vowing to get her revenge on the demons who murdered her mother by snapping the Demon King's neck in half. Realizing his error, our guy understands it was just Sylvia's speculation that the demons committed the murder. Afterward, Pedinar asks the Elf Queen to wait safely in his room, promising to return quickly. She tells him to be careful. Reflecting on this, our guy thinks about how instead of killing Sylvia, it would have been better to show her this royal affairs scene. Forget revenge, Sylvia needs a front row seat to this demon elf soap opera. Soon after, the Demon King, Pedinar, addresses our guy, calling him the hero of the legend. He asks, "Aren't you a bit too early?" Momentarily distracted, our guy is spaced out, still thinking that the adultery he just witnessed was too freaking amazing. Then he tells the Demon King that where he's from, friends would insult your family as a joke if you were frustratingly tardy. Kang Han-soo's roasting Pedinar's punctuality like he's late for a demon family reunion. Internally, our guy thinks this punk, that punk, as he readies his sword. He states that speed is a necessary condition to being a dutiful son. In response, the Demon King scoffs at the hero's sword, questioning if he came here without being able to wield the holy sword. He begins to laugh, finding the situation amusing. With a mocking tone, he calls the hero foolish and hasty, stating that none of the heroes who fought him before were like this. They always brought their comrades. Reminiscing, he continues, remembering how they would, quote, shine brightly in front of him, bearing hopes and dreams after countless adventures and sufferings together. Pedinar's getting nostalgic, like he's flipping through a scrapbook of past hero beatdowns. Boastfully, he declares his own greatness as Pedinar, the first ever devil who has existed since the creation of Fantasia. Adding to his bravado, he claims that not even the 5 disasters, heaven, or the protectors of mankind could lay a hand on him. Now questioning the hero's useless and foolish challenge, he points out that the hero stands before him with just a month's experience, no comrades, no holy sword. Correcting him, our guy states that it hasn't been a month, but 22 days. He calls the Demon King's question stupid and asks if he doesn't already know the answer. The Demon King looks on, considering the hero's words. Confidently, our guy declares that even without comrades and the holy sword, he can win against him. Calmly, he looks at the Demon King's abilities. Then, the King's status window appears, showing he is a level 999 plus first demon with multiple SS rank skills, including immortality and indestructible body. Noticing this, he thinks that the stupid job of being a Demon King was the only thing holding him back, as his level would be penalized if he fought against a hero. Watching our guy's confidence, the Demon King looks frustrated. Although unaware of the specifics, our guy doesn't know the details of the penalty, but assumes it's related to why a hero must be summoned to get rid of the Demon King. Eventually, the Demon King, sitting on his throne, calls the hero foolish and arrogant, yet praises his courage. Determined, Pedinar declares that he won't need to use his demon sword against a hero who doesn't even have the holy sword. He summons a powerful purple energy-infused sword. He states he shall not use the sword of primordial evil. Clenching his fist, he declares that his pride as the Demon King would be devastated if he had to use such a magnificent weapon. Smirking, Argai wonders if it's all right for the Demon King to look down at him that much. He holds up the elemental sword Endymion, stating that while it may not be the holy sword, it's not something to be dismissed. Shocked, the Demon King is taken aback by the power emanating from the sword. Suddenly, a wave of purple energy and tormented souls erupts from the sword. Argai, now a shadowy figure with a sinister grin, holds the empowered Endymion, and the Demon King asks in horror, "What on earth is that?" Panicking, he thinks that this is not a holy sword, but a demon sword, as the souls of the dead cry out in pain. In disbelief, the Demon King exclaims that he has never seen a grudge this malicious, even since time began. He demands to know the name of the demon sword. Proudly, Argai holds his corrupted sword, the Endymion, its blade glowing with a malevolent purple energy. He explains that it is the Elf Kingdom's treasure, and that all the souls the demons killed have tainted the heart of the elves and now dwell within the elemental sword. At first, he recalls that it was hard to tame their discontent, but he ultimately succeeded. Lovingly, he calls it his cute partner, Endymion. Cute partner? Kang Hansu is sweet-talking a soul-infested sword like it's his new bestie. He asks the Demon King, "Are you ready?" Enraged, the Demon King roars in fury, angered by the likes of spirits. Undeterred, Argai tells his sword that for this ignorant and arrogant Demon King, they will show him their fantastic combo attack. Moments later, the Demon King is shown screaming in rage as he is overwhelmed by the attack. Argai, with a determined glowing red eye, thinks to himself, "It's time to go home." Then he unleashes his attack in a blur of red and black, representing the intense final battle. Victorious, he stands over the defeated Demon King, Pedinar. Reflecting, he notes that the Demon King is weaker than he was in the first round and that he has figured out the penalty for the Demon King. He explains that the extent of Pedinar's weakness was proportional to the peak of his own abilities, meaning the Demon King's level is adjusted according to the hero's level. To illustrate this, a simple diagram appears, showing a level 30 hero and demon versus a level 3000 hero and demon. A diagram for demon math. Kang Hansu is turning this fight into a classroom lecture. Realizing this, Argai understands why the battle dragged on in the first round, allowing him to stack up experience points. Frustrated, he thinks that he suffered for nothing in his trash-like adventure. Suddenly, the System of God appears, asking if his adventure was enjoyable. Recalling his enthusiasm, he remembers replying that it was a very fulfilling adventure and that he would live diligently even after returning to Earth. Finally, a graduation report card appears, stating that the path of a true hero is tough, but he has formed countless bonds, learned about friendship and love, and finally defeated the evil Demon King. Friendship and love? Argai's version includes yeeting allies and stealing swords. Heroic bonding at its finest. Enthusiastically, Argai agrees, saying he learned a lot of things. A message appears, "I truly congratulate you." Laughing, Argai thanks them, while thinking to himself that he wants to complain about the host's sincerity, but he doesn't want any of his marks to get deducted. A new message appears, "Shall we look at your results now?" Anticipating the moment, Argai thinks to himself, the fated moment has finally come. He is shown with a wide, excited grin, ready to see his results. With uncontainable excitement, he exclaims, "Let's do this!" Kang Hansu is hyping his grades like he's about to win Fantasia's most chaotic hero.
Argai, with his heart pounding, eagerly shouts, "Let's go home, please!" However, a message appears. "Please check your report card carefully." Filled with anticipation, Argai's face is filled with joy as he sees the results. He prays and shouts to pass. Excitedly, his report card appears showing combat power A+, and achievements SS rank exclamation points. He thinks to himself, "I predict this," but then the next result is reputation E. The hero's joyful expression freezes in shock. To his dismay, the final result is character F-. He is completely dumbfounded. Adding insult to injury, a final remark appears. He'll be a danger to Earth and the heroes if we let him graduate. Ouch, an F- in character? Kang Hansu's report card just called him a walking apocalypse.
Desperately, our guy pleads with the great examiner Nim to listen. He falls to his knees, promising to live a quiet life on Earth. In a frantic plea, our guy desperately asks them to rethink their decision, arguing that there's no way he'd destroy his own homeworld. Yet, a message appears: "You have failed." Our guy's face contorts in a mixture of shock and rage. He shouts, "Shit, why?" and throws a tantrum. Kang Han-soo's throwing a fit like a toddler who didn't get his Demon King slaying gold star. Soon after, the reason for his failure is displayed. You misused your past life's memories instead of reflecting on them. A new message appears explaining that extreme violence will always bring hostility and fear. As a result, it concludes that for the sake of world order and peace, our guy's body goes limp, his eyes vacant. He shall return to the first day of his test. Slowly, our guy's body begins to disintegrate into purple particles. Kang Han-soo's getting the cosmic reset button with extra sparkles. A message appears stating that the faculty will adjust the course contents. In a daze, our guy stands amidst the crumbling purple landscape, looking dazed. Then, another message appears. All the faculty and teaching staff are looking forward to your improvement. The hero's eyes are white and vacant as he failed again. As the ground beneath him shatters, he begins to fall. A new message announces that the hero's monitoring has been increased. Amidst the chaos, the shattered pieces of the landscape float in a white void. Finally, the final message states, "A specialist instructor will be dispatched, increased monitoring, and a specialist." Kang Han-soo's basically on hero probation now. Our guy, Kang Han-soo, lies on the ground on a glowing purple magic circle, hopeless. Suddenly, a voice welcomes him. A beautiful, blonde woman with glowing eyes, La Nouvelle, stands before him. Now he's in a grand hall, surrounded by armored figures as he questions if this is the third round. La Nouvelle calls out to him. She tells him he must be confused and explains that this place is called Fantasia, a different world from where he came from. In his internal monologue, the hero questions if this is like fantasy novels, a chance given to someone who was defeated. Third time's the charm. Kang Han-soo is stuck in a time loop like it's Groundhog Day Fantasia edition. With a kind and understanding expression, La Nouvelle tells him that she'll explain everything in detail. However, our guy thinks about how he clearly defeated the Demon King twice. Frustrated, he internally complains that if this were a novel or comic, it would be heavily criticized for its frustrating development. Frustrating development? Kang Han-soo is ready to write a 1-star review for this isekai plot. La Nouvelle introduces herself as an archaeologist who received a prophecy and summoned the hero while chasing ancient legends. Cheerfully, she adds that La Nouvelle means truth in the ancient language. With a serene smile, our guy thinks to himself that he's listening to her self-introduction for the third time already. Darkly, he contemplates killing La Nouvelle here and now, wondering if it would make the third round unfold differently. Killing La Nouvelle to spice things up? Kang Han-soo's problem-solving skills are as subtle as a dragon stampede. Suddenly, a voice in his head, presumably Professor Morals, shouts, "Hold it!" She lectures him, explaining that a single word can have a ripple effect, and a single person can stabilize an entire nation. Pleadingly, she urges him not to start by killing his innocent comrade to relieve his anger. Now, our guy in a dark, ethereal space sits before Professor Morals, remarking that they meet again. She tells him that she is his first student to have achieved an SS grade in any subject, because he was able to subjugate the Ghost Dragon King and defeat the Demon King in just 22 days. Proudly, she declares that his name shall be recorded in the Hall of Fame and remain there forever. With sincerity, she congratulates him. Gritting his teeth in frustration, our guy feels a bright light envelop him. He wonders, where did I go wrong? Hall of Fame for a 22-day speed run, but still flunked? Kang Han-soo's resume is a roller coaster of chaos. La Nouvelle and Porter, in formal attire, greet the hero. In his monologue, the hero states that he was able to showcase the best results in the shortest amount of time. He accomplished eliminating crime, preventing casualties from demon attacks, and defeating the Demon King within 22 days of being summoned. Confidently, he calls this an irrefutably objective statement. Yet, he wonders why his reputation score was lower than before, going from a D to an E. Suddenly, he realizes why. He concludes that it's because of the Ghost Dragon King, as no one knew that he was the one who awakened it. As a consequence, our guy realizes that because the Ghost Dragon King destroyed half the middle continent, there were a lot of casualties. Naturally, the people needed someone to resent and pin the incident on, and the summoned hero was the perfect punching bag. With a bruised face, our guy curses the damn barbarians, questioning what they were expecting from a hero who was summoned only 10 days before. Barbarians blaming the new guy? Kang Han-soo's getting roasted for a disaster he totally caused. Recalling past events, he remembers that it was the same in the first round. He would painstakingly save their lives, but they would keep yapping about their lost belongings and missing family members, always blaming the hero if anything went wrong. La Nouvelle tries to get the hero's attention, but he shouts at her to shut her trap. Flustered, the guard tells the hero that they've delayed too long and that His Majesty is waiting. With a crazed look in his eyes, our guy is shocked by this. He tells the blockhead guard to listen up, asking how many heroes there are in this world who can slay the Demon King. Calmly, the guard tells the hero that there are 2 heroes who can slay the Demon King. Confirming this, our guy says that's right, 2, explaining that even if something happens to the king, there would always be an heir. Pausing briefly, our guy thinks things through clearly once more. Then he turns to see the new hero, asking, 2 heroes? 2? Suddenly, a new person, a young man with glasses, appears and greets our guy. A status window appears for the new hero, showing he is level 1 archhuman, with a status of expectant, hopeful, excited. In shock, our guy looks on as the new hero introduces himself as a 17-year-old high school student from Seoul, South Korea. Cheerfully, he adds that his hobbies are gaming and reading books. Impressed, La Nouvelle reacts, but our guy thinks to himself that the new hero's stats are abnormal for someone who was just summoned. Curiously, he wonders how calm and kind the new hero is, even after being kidnapped to a world of suspicious medieval barbarians. With a sense of foreboding, a B hero has appeared. A gamer nerd as a rival hero? Kang Han-soo is about to face off against a Seoul high schooler with a power-up cheat code. A glamorous anime-style priestess is shown on a smartphone screen. Confused, our guy stares at the image while the new hero laughs awkwardly, explaining that he was roaming around and forgot his phone. Cheerfully, he adds that the phone case is a small hobby of his and that he's played that game a bit. Reflecting, our guy thinks to himself that while he also played the game, he wasn't into it enough to carry around an accessory like that. Therefore, he concludes that the new hero, despite his timid appearance, has an unusual personality. Anime priestess phone case? Sieg's out here flexing his otaku cred before he'd been fighting a goblin. Soon after, the new hero, flustered, asks for our guy's name. Calmly, he introduces himself as Kang Han-soo and adds that he's from South Korea. Just then, a royal guard interrupts them, saying, "His Majesty is waiting." Internally, our guy curses the guard's lack of tact, thinking that he's just happy to meet someone from his homeworld after 10 years. For a split second, he considers killing the guard with his pen, but decides against it, as the situation is different this time. After all, he realizes that if Hero A is gotten rid of, Hero B would remain to save the world in his stead. Meanwhile, the scene cuts to the Dumpling King desperately begging the 2 heroes to have mercy and save the world. Curiously, our guy, Kang Han-soo, asks the new hero what he thinks of the situation, saying the barbarian king who kidnapped them is begging for help. Passionately, the new hero rants about how unreasonable it is to ask young students to be criminals' comrades. He argues that forcing kids to fight in a war against the Demon King is a blatant war crime. As he goes on, our guy zones out, thinking, if only they could work together like that all the time. Sieg's out here preaching war crimes while our guy's daydreaming about teamwork. Talk about mismatched vibes. However, the new hero, excited, exclaims that his duty is to defeat the Demon King and save this fantasy world. Hearing that, our guy freezes for a second. His brain basically goes, "Nani?" Sieg's all in on the hero gig, and Kang Han-soo's short-circuiting like he just saw a plot twist. Eagerly, he asks to be called Sieg from now on, as it must be hard for people to pronounce Korean names. At that moment, a flustered La Nouvelle tries to calm the original hero. Sieg suggests our guy make a new name for himself too, but says he can't take Sieg because he chose it first. Blinded by Sieg's enthusiasm, our guy thinks about the new hero's crazy personality. In frustration, he thinks, "Hero Sieg my ass." Then he remembers Sieg's phone case and recalls that Sieg is the main character of a game where he marries a sexy priestess character. Sensing this, our guy can clearly feel this new hero's desire. Sieg's dreaming of waifus while our guy's plotting world domination? Priorities much? Boiling with disappointment, he lifts his hand and says, "Hey, look at me." Sieg, flustered, acknowledges him. Calmly, our guy asks Sieg if he misses his parents or friends, saying that everyone must be worried about him. For a moment of silence, Sieg replies that he's not really worried, and it's all right. Stunned, our guy, upon hearing the words, "It's all right," feels as if he's just been shot straight in the face. Sieg is confused, wondering what had just happened to our guy. In his mind, our guy thinks, "Is this guy for real?" After collecting his thoughts, he analyzes the new hero, Sieg, concluding that he has no friends, no love for his parents, and no attachments to his old life, making him prepared to disappear in this world. Sieg's got zero baggage and all the chill. Our guy's jealous of this kid's no parents, no problems energy. Suddenly, Sieg steps forward, telling our guy not to worry. With a serious look, he declares, "I shall protect you." Hearing those words, our guy freezes, stunned by the new hero's pure and earnest tone. In that moment, he feels the mocking laughter of the Demon King and the other demonic figures Sylvia and Alex echoing in his mind. Abruptly, Professor Morals appears, asking what he thinks of his new comrade. Shocked, our guy asks where on earth she found such an abandoned social reject. Abandoned social reject? Our guy's throwing shade like Sieg's the last kid picked in gym class. Patiently, she explains that he is the hero candidate selected for the lost student Kang Han-soo and possesses the surprising ability to adapt well. However, our guy reflects that the joy of meeting someone from his homeworld after 10 years has disappeared without a trace in just 10 minutes. Bitterly, he thinks it's the huge personality difference that shocks him. Reassuringly, Professor Morals tells him not to worry, as he has been acknowledged as a hard worker among the staff. Optimistically, she adds that as long as he has a friend who can properly guide him, it will be possible for him to graduate. Eagerly, Lemuel offers to guide the new hero Sieg to the throne room, but this new hero totally falls for Lemuel and, blushing like an idiot, says, "Oh, yes, Sieg's crushing on Lemuel already? This kid's speed running the harem route in record time!" In a voiceover, Professor Morals explains that who you surround yourself with is who you'll become, and prays that our guy will take after his friend and become a wonderful hero. Skeptically, our guy notes that the selected hero candidate is clearly distracted by Lemuel, reflecting he hopes he wasn't like Sieg in his first round. Meanwhile, he recalls that Alex's troublesome test of courage didn't happen this time, wondering if it's because Sieg is so cooperative. Suddenly, a grand door opens, revealing the throne room. The Dumpling King sits on his throne surrounded by guards and welcomes the two heroes. Politely, our guy Kang Han-soo thanks the king for his hospitality, while Sieg simply says, "Hello, king," and bows deeply. Impressed, the nobles speculate that our guy must have grown up in a noble household due to his perfect etiquette. In contrast, they whisper about the new hero's lack of manners. Internally, our guy thinks to himself that this is his third time going over etiquette, and he wouldn't be human if he couldn't do it. Third time's the charm for etiquette, but our guy's still plotting regicide in his head. Curiously, the king asks the two heroes if they can see their abilities well. Eagerly, Sieg reports his stats, while our guy, Kang Han-soo, confirms that he can also see his, though it's almost annoying. Then, a status window shows his status has been reset to level 1, and he wonders if he really has to start from the beginning. Suddenly, the mosaicked F-rank skill from his previous run flashes in his mind. In a flash, a bright purple light envelops him as he realizes something. Before his eyes, his status is shifting, unfolding right before him. Excitedly, he thinks to himself, "I didn't forget!" Revealed at last, his true status window appears, showing he is a level 1 Chaos human with multiple SS rank skills and a reverting status. Realizing its significance, he understands the censored skills effect. Level 1 with SS rank skills? Our guy's got a cheat code that screams New Game Plus! Meanwhile, the king addresses the two heroes, explaining that a crisis has befallen their country, which borders the demons' territory. Solemnly, he asks them to kill the demons, raise their skills, and defeat the Demon King Pedonar. Confidently, the two heroes, now in their school uniforms, accept the task. Excitedly, Sieg tells our guy, "Mr. Kang Han-soo, let's do our best!" In agreement, our guy responds, "That's right, Your Majesty." With glowing purple eyes, he silently vows, "Please leave everything to us and rest in peace forever." Rest in peace forever? Our guy's already planning the king's eternal nap with a side of menace.
Our guy is now enveloped in a purple aura. Suddenly, Professor Morals appears, asking what on earth he is and how he still has his skills after being reset to the first day. Realizing her confusion, the hero boasts that he is a student who received an SS grade and a veteran who has returned for the third time, unlike the timid newbie hero. Kang Han-soo's flexing his time loop veteran status like he's got a PhD in Fantasia chaos. Meanwhile, with Sieg blushing and Lan Yuvel smiling, the two of them lock eyes, sharing a tender moment. Overcome with embarrassment, Sieg averts his gaze from Lan Yuvel, his cheeks burning red. Curiously, Argai asks Professor Morals if it wouldn't be a serious problem if he were the same as the rest. Flustered, Professor Morals stammers that she doesn't know. Professor Morals is stumped. Looks like Kang Har-soo's chaos is breaking the faculty's brains. As the scene shifts, they arrive at the royal castle. He glances at his skinny arm, then boom, it bulges up. Reflecting, Argai thinks to himself that knowledge is something that can't be reset, and that he still has Master Molong's teachings embedded in him. With this realization, he understands that if his skills are the same as before, raising his level will be easier, even though he has to start from the beginning. Maniacally, he laughs, thinking that he has managed to screw over the guidance teachers, the administrator, and even the fantasy god. Screwing over a god? Kang Han-soo's out here speedrunning a divine middle finger. Sieg asks if something amusing happened. Nonchalantly, our guy tells the new hero that he still finds this whole fantasy situation hard to believe. Blushing, Sieg adds that he shouldn't worry. He promises to help him if he's ever in danger. Internally, the hero reminds himself to hold it in as Sieg is his ticket to graduating. Encouragingly, he tells Sieg to be at ease and call him Hansu, saying they are dear comrades who dream of returning to their beloved Earth. Eagerly, Sieg agrees, and they shake hands, with Sieg looking forward to working with him. However, Sieg then casually mentions that he's not thinking of going back to Earth. In a fit of rage, he crushes Sieg's hand. Sieg screams in agony as the hero asks if he's not planning to kill the Demon King. Hand-crushing rage, Kang Han-soo's teaching Sieg teamwork with a side of bone-breaking bonding. Terrified by our guy's face, Sieg quickly backtracks, insisting that he is still going to defeat the Demon King. Relenting, Argai releases his grip and Sieg clutches his injured hand. With a forced smile, Sieg remarks on Hansu's strength, wondering how he's so strong even though they are both level 1 with the same skills. Admiringly, Sieg sighs and says quietly, "If only I'd known I'd become a hero." Curiously, Argai wonders if Sieg can't see his skills. As his narration explains, his overflowing status window is shown, noting that heroes in this world can see the abilities of others if they want. He questions why Sieg can't see all his skills or the black box. In a flashback, Professor Morals, flustered, says they need to look into this and tells him not to do anything until they've checked it. Realizing her genuine surprise, Argai understands her reaction was authentic. Sieg's blind to the black box? Argai's got a secret cheat code and the faculty is scrambling. Sieg asks about the black box, wondering if it's an item you can get by drawing lots, and Argai realizes the system doesn't know the effect of this skill. Deciding strategically, he chooses not to tell Sieg about it. Instead, he asks Sieg why he's going after the Demon King if he has no plans of returning. Passionately, Sieg explains that the world is in danger because of the Demon King's resurrection. Unimpressed, Argai apathetically replies, "Sure." Misinterpreting his response, Sieg suggests they look for more comrades and create a party. Argai tells him to have fun. Sieg's hyped for a party, while Argai's like, "Have fun playing hero, I'm out." Questioning himself internally, he wonders if he's fighting to protect the world that he'll live in. With a plan in mind, he promises to meet Sieg again in 5 days at Alex's fun and safe orientation. Annoyed, Argai is irritated by Sieg's tourist-like attitude, having lived in this world for 10 years himself. As he prepares to leave, Lan Yuvel calls out to him. Cheerfully, she greets him, and he reminds her not to act cute, but then realizes he hasn't said that in this round yet. Dismissing the thought, he asks why she is here instead of with Sieg. Curiously, Lan Yuvel puts a finger to her lips, asking why. Explaining her motives, she states that as an archaeologist chasing legends, the lives and achievements of past heroes are part of her research. Confidently, she notes that Sieg is a hero she expected him to be. Not extraordinary, but like all the other heroes. Lan Yuvel's calling Sieg basic? Ouch, that's gotta sting for the newbie hero. However, she adds that there's something different about the hero Hansu, as a good scholar takes interest in new phenomena around them. Suspiciously, Argai thinks that she must have been one of the reasons he couldn't graduate. Cautiously, Lan Yuvel tells Argai she has something to tell him, and he grants her permission to speak. Urgently, she informs him that they have just entered an area that's off limits. Clarifying further, she explains that it's a capital punishment to enter the royal hunting grounds, and that she should have told him earlier. She suggests they leave right now, but he tells her to leave by herself. Pointing ahead, he identifies the building before them as the Queen's Villa and asks Lanyvel if he was summoned here. Queen's Villa trespassing? Kang Han-soo's turning a royal field trip into a felony. Suddenly, a vicious-looking guard dog lunges at them. Calmly, our guy blows a stream of purple poison at the dog, killing it instantly. Terrified, Lanyvel expresses her concern, and our guy dismisses it, saying a guard dog is nothing to him. Frantically, she clarifies that she wasn't talking about that. Smirking, he tells her that since she came along anyway, she'll be some help. Confidently, she declares, "Yes!" as he steps forward. As the scene shifts, they enter the inside of the villa, where a lone maid is shown. Curiously, our guy wonders if there is only a maid watching the villa. With a smirk, he thinks, "Looks like I came in time." Suddenly, the maid's eyes glow with a demonic red light, and her face contorts in rage. A status window appears, showing she is a level 34 human maid with skills in evil and miasma, and a status of alert. A demonic maid? Our guy just walked into a haunted villa with a side of evil cleaning service.
He reflects that a level 5 person in Fantasia has physical abilities comparable to a professional athlete on Earth. It reveals she has a contract with a demon and is level 34, meaning she could fly around like an actor in a Hong Kong movie. Flustered, Lanyvel apologizes to the maid, explaining that the hero isn't used to this world and that they will leave quickly. Curiously, the hero asks Lanyvel if she doesn't think the maid looks a bit mad right now. Suddenly, the demon lets out a demonic grrr. With incredible speed, she lunges at the hero. However, she is sent flying by an unseen force, and Lanyvel and the hero apologize in unison. Unfazed, our guy remains calm despite the sudden attack. Enraged, the demon, now with demonic features, lunges at the hero again, screaming, "Die!" Calmly, our guy slams her head into the ground, telling her to please be quiet. In an instant, he silences her with a single, forceful slam. Shocked, Lanyvel asks if he wasn't just a level 1. With a sly grin, our guy says no and reveals he is now level 12. Level 12 already? Kang Han-soo's power leveling like he's got a cheat code and a grudge. Horrified, Lanyvel points at the maid. As a grotesque, fleshy mass of demonic energy erupts, the maid's body dissolves into a pool of purple sludge. Purple sludge, maid? Looks like Kang Han-soo just cleaned house, literally. Sternly, our guy tells Lanyvel to shut up if she wants to come with him. Explaining further, he notes that normally this would be the end of it, but unlike previous rounds, he still has his high-rank skills which amplify the effects of his level-ups. To illustrate, he simplifies his situation with a combat power equation, showing Zeeg's as 160 and the maid's as 860. In contrast, his own combat power is calculated with a long, complex equation resulting in a really frickin' high total. Marveling at his power, he feels like he's gaming with an admin's account. Admin account vibes? Kang Han-soo's playing Fantasia with God mode turned on. As they approach the main gate, Lanyvel activates a glowing red magic circle. Navigating cautiously, our guy and Lanyvel walk through a dark, fiery corridor, and Lanyvel wonders what is going on at the Queen's Villa, as it has traps and a demon-contracted maid. With determination, our guide pushes open a door. Peeking cautiously, he and Lanyvel look into the room. Shocked, the scene reveals someone being violently beaten. A secret beatdown in the Queen's Villa? Kang Han-soo has crashed a party that's way too wild. Amid the chaos, a group of cultists chant for their master's descent and offer eternal youth, eternal pleasure, eternal power. Stunned, Lanyvel is shocked to find demon worshippers in the Queen's Villa in the middle of the city. Curiously, she wonders how the hero knew about this and if it's related to a hero's ability. Annoyed, our guy scolds Lanyvel for not shutting up. Boldly, he interrupts the ritual, and a cultist, startled, asks who he is and how he entered. Observing closely, our guy inspects the cultists, noting that the worshippers are all humans. However, he identifies their leader as a demon.
demon cult in the Queen's backyard, Kang Han Susan covering conspiracies like it's a fantasy detective show. Revealing the threat, the demon leader, a level 194 magician, declares that those who have stepped on their sacred ground cannot go back, and that they should rejoice for the honor of becoming their master's sacrificial offering. Dismissively, our guy sarcastically notes that it seems the demon has transformed into a human to lead the cult. With a glowing eye, he sizes up the demon, rating it as B rank. Suddenly, the demon lunges at him. B-rank demon? Kang Han Su is grading this guy like he's reviewing a mid-tier boss. Shocked by the intrusion, the cultists are stunned by the hero's sudden appearance, and Lanuel is equally surprised. Unexpectedly, the demon leader immediately prostrates himself before the hero, calling him Honorable One and begging for forgiveness. Reflecting on demon society, our guy thinks that it has a rigid hierarchy, and it's their law to be absolutely submissive to anyone stronger. Activating his power, he uses his triple S-rank demonic energy skill as a good ID card to assert his dominance over the demon. Commandingly, he tells the B-rank demon to handle the bothersome affairs while he gives out the orders. Kang Han Su is flashing his demonic ID like he's the VIP of the underworld. With authority, he declares that he is in charge of this place from now on and asks if there are any problems, to which the demon quickly replies, absolutely not. In awe, the demon now addresses him as Honorable Great Demon Archduke. Bewildered, Lanuel looks on as the hero tells her to shut up and figure it out. Addressing the cultists, he calls them maggot followers and declares that he shall control this kingdom from the shadows of chaos. Maggot followers and Shadow King vibes, Kang Han Su is one step from a supervillain cape. With a sinister grin, he announces that as the very first step, he'll explain what they all have to do in detail. Confidently, he proclaims, "I'll be taking over this kingdom." Kingdom takeover in one episode? Kang Han Su is speedrunning tyranny like it's a world record.
In a flashback to his first round, our young hero, Kang Han Su, delivers a powerful blow to a cultist, shouting, "Feel the retribution of the people you sacrificed!" As a grotesque, fleshy mass of demonic energy erupts, the defeated cultist collapses, and the hero wonders if he was also a demon worshipper. Shocked, he and his party look on, realizing that the demonic influence is all over the kingdom. Reflecting grimly, our guy thinks that the situation is way too rotten, and that the place is already a demon's playground, even without the Demon King. Demon's playground? Kang Han Su's calling this kingdom a demonic frat house with no chill? Revealing the extent of corruption, the narration explains that the deeper you investigated, the clearer it became that demon worshipping wasn't just for lowlifes, but also high-ranking nobles and royals, including the queen. Bitterly, he blames the Dumpling King's amazing leadership for the kingdom becoming a demon's playground. In response, the king tells the hero that demon worshipping is an issue and asks him to do his best. Do his best? The king's giving Kang Han Su a pep talk like it's a school project, not a demonic conspiracy. As a hero, our guy knew he had to solve this demonic problem. Commandingly, he shouts at the cultists not to move and to stay still if they don't want to be beaten down. However, he warns the cultists that they will be killed whether they move or not for demon worshipping anyway. But another cultist calls him an arrogant bastard. Enraged, the demon leader, now in a more monstrous form, tells the hero he'll regret intruding in their sanctuary and to bow before the overlord of hellfire. With a burst of flames, a massive fire demon is summoned, and the cult leader tells the hero to embrace your death. Unimpressed, our guy tells the demon bastard to shut up and asks if he knows how much he had to go through because of him. Relentlessly, he brutally beats up the demon leader, shouting that all demon bastards should just die, and blaming him for the humiliation he suffered from the dumpling idiot. Dumpling idiot drama? Kang Han Su is turning his grudge into a one-man demon-smashing therapy session. Continuing his rant, he shouts, "Anyways, die, you demonic bug!" As a result, after our guy got rid of the B-rank demon in the Queen's villa, the kingdom's demon worshippers disappeared in the blink of an eye. Back in the present, a diagram illustrates the hierarchical structure of the demon worshippers. Reflecting on this, our guy thinks to himself that since the demon at the top was gone, there was no benefit to worshipping. Concluding strategically, he realizes that the organization's weakness was its dependency on a single leader. With a smirk, he thinks that thanks to that, he snatched the leader's position. Now, the cultists were worshipping him. Cult leader Kang Han-soo? He's gone from hero to demonic CEO in record time. Confidently, he realizes that it would be possible to capture all the demon worshippers without resistance. Suddenly, La Nouvelle calls out to him, saying she has a bad feeling about this. Recalling Zieg's words, our guy thinks about Zieg telling him to leave everything to him and just trust him, as hero Zieg will solve the problem for him. Thinking about how he was told to learn from Zieg in order to graduate. Optimistically, he believes this will greatly increase his reputation because he is doing this service for free. Seated on a demonic throne, he declares that the reformed hero will be generous this time around. With a sinister grin, he says he will solve everything for free so that so His Majesty will be at ease, forever at peace. Forever at peace? The generosity comes with some ominous vibes. Meanwhile, the king asks his Lord Chancellor what the matter is. Nervously, the Lord Chancellor reports it's about the hero, Kang Han-soo, and the king asks if he did something wrong. Admitting his unease, the king notes that he didn't like the hero from the moment he first saw him, observing that while his etiquette was perfect, there was something off about him. Countering this, the Lord Chancellor, his eyes glowing with purple demonic energy, says that's not at all. Proudly, he reports that the hero sought out duplicitous groups and played a crucial role in arresting them all. Adding to the praise, he notes that the hero also distributed the confiscated wealth amongst the citizens. Arresting cults and playing Robin Hood? Kang Han-soo's PR game is on point, demonic glow or not. Enthusiastically, the Lord Chancellor can't stop praising Kang Han-soo, calling him far more reliable than the lazy hero Zieg, and claims he's the one who can save all of Fantasia. In agreement, the Queen concurs, and the King asks if she also thinks the hero's achievements are outstanding. With concern, the Queen expresses her worry about the hero's funds and suggests providing a reward for his achievements, but the King questions why he would spend money on something so useless. Flustered, the King is taken aback by the Queen's comment. Persuasively, the Queen, her eyes glowing with purple demonic energy, beseeches the King to provide funding for the hero's adventures. Convincingly, she argues that if the hero saves the world, the King's name will shine even brighter as the one who summoned him. Now swayed, the King, his eyes also glowing with purple demonic energy, agrees with the Queen. With a gesture of trust, he gives the Queen the key to the private vault, telling her to take as much as she needs for the hero. Gratefully, the Queen and the Lord Chancellor thank the King, their eyes still glowing with demonic power. Feigning humility, our guy, now with a massive pile of gold, says it wasn't his intention to receive money. Confidently, he declares that he will use it well. Rolling in gold and demonic loyalty, Kang Han-soo is living the Isekai sugar daddy dream. Reflecting on the past, he notes that unlike in the second round, where they would argue endlessly, he was able to peacefully get the funds this time. Optimistically, our guy thinks that his character grade will probably be protected now, as he has definitely improved since the second round. Joyfully, he rolls around in a pile of gold, rationalizing that since the money is a donation from the king, it's technically just volunteer work. Volunteer work with a gold pile? Kang Han-soo is redefining charity with a side of bling. Strategically, he identifies the Queen as the joker in his plan, and the Lord Chancellor and other retainers have their use. Loyally, the Lord Chancellor pledges their allegiance to the hero, saying they are prepared to sacrifice everything and that all the church's assets are his. Curiously, the hero, surrounded by gold, asks the Lord Chancellor for a briefing on the church's source of income. Presenting the data, the Lord Chancellor shows a pie chart illustrating the church's income sources, which are mostly criminal activities like drug dealing, loan sharking, and kidnapping. Realizing the implications, the hero understands that 99% of the church's income is essentially dirty money, and that his character grading would plummet if he touched any of it. Dirty money drama? Kang Han-soo is dodging a character grade disaster like it's a tax audit. Cautiously, he worries about what the teaching faculty and Professor Morals might nitpick next, and resolves to be extremely careful so he can graduate. Suddenly, a voice calls out to him, and he finds Zieg's party members looking for him. Urgently, a royal guard grabs him, telling him to stop Zieg, who is being reckless. Confused, our guy asks what this is about.
Rushing through the streets, our guy Kang Han-soo, alongside a royal guard, asks what they mean by Sieg being reckless. Urgently, the guard urges Sieg to calm down. Angrily, Sieg claims that he saw a pig grab a lady's hand and drag her away by force. Trying to reason, the guard explains that the lady herself said that didn't happen. Stubbornly, Sieg argues that she must have been threatened and that it's obvious she's afraid of revenge. Pleadingly, the guards ask him to be reasonable. Meanwhile, the nobleman in question, a baron, complains about the humiliation as the lady apologizes to him. Defiantly, Sieg shouts at the baron, calling him a pig bastard and demanding he release the lady. Annoyed, our guy covers his ears, getting a sense of what's happening. Sieg's out here yelling pig bastard like he's auditioning for a medieval soap opera. Recognizing the noble, he identifies the baron as one of the participants in the religious rituals in the basement of the queen's villa. As the baron's status window appears, it shows he has F-rank demonic energy and is an F-rank demon worshipper. In a flashback to his first round, the narration explains the history of a barony in the Dumpling King's kingdom, a rich place with no shortages. However, this abundance was a problem for the baron, who is shown stuffing his face with food. Due to stress, the lessons on succession made his appetite uncontrollable, and he was well off enough to satisfy his hunger. When he inherited the title, he began to feel lethargic and was plagued with numerous illnesses like diabetes, arthritis, and cancer. Desperately, he discovered that Fantasia's recovery spells were not omnipotent. In his desperation, the Baron reached out to demon worshippers, swearing to follow the one who would bestow eternal health, strength, and power upon him. As a result, he began to commit vicious acts, becoming increasingly violent due to the effects of the demonic energy, until he was punished by the hero's judgment. Baron went from stress eating to demon dealing. Talk about a midlife crisis gone demonic. Back in the present, with a declaration of "however," our guy approaches the scene asking Sieg what he's doing here. Urgently, Sieg asks for his help, pointing at the Baron and claiming he saw the pig drag the lady away by force. Protesting, the lady insists it's not true, as our guy internally recognizes her as the future Baroness who will marry the poor patient in 2 years. Recalling the future, he remembers that she will become one of the Baron's victims when he becomes violent due to his demon worshipping. Dismissing the future for now, our guy asks Sieg about the evidence, reminding him that as a hero, he should be able to see it. Confidently, Sieg explains that the demon energy F skill attached to the Baron proves he is a demon worshipper. Internally annoyed, our guy wonders what Sieg is yapping on about in front of his own demon energy SS skill. Correcting him, our guy tells Sieg that just because someone has demonic energy doesn't necessarily mean they're a demon worshiper. Explaining further, he notes that one can gain demonic energy by eating a demon's heart through special training or from an elixir. Adding caution, he clarifies that demonic energy that's not controlled can become quite chaotic and can transform you into a demon that possesses the personality of its owner. Elaborating, he explains that while humans can gain a lot from absorbing demonic energy, it's an addictive, drug-like energy that can torment the user, which is how demons control humans. Persistently, Sieg tells the hero, Han-soo, that pig is really a demon worshiper. Frustrated, our guy thinks Sieg is a perceptive guy who's attacking me with facts like a coward. Meanwhile, the townsfolk are skeptical of Sieg's accusations, defending the kind Baron who is their regular customer. Surrounded by hostility, Sieg faces angry townspeople who call him a liar and question his right to frame someone just because he's a hero. Defending the Baron, the lady explains that it was all a misunderstanding and that the Baron has only shown her family generosity. Recounting her story, she describes how the Baron forgave her father for spilling food on him, called for a doctor to look at his leg, and that she has followed him ever since, but has now become a nuisance. Firmly, the royal guards grab Sieg, asking if he has anything else to say before they take him away. As they drag him away, they tell the hero that they will see to making amends with the Baron, and he doesn't need to worry. Observing quietly, our guy notes that the Baron's reputation is still pretty good, and looking ahead, he thinks that the Baron being completely enveloped by demonic energy is still far into the future. Advising sternly, our guy tells Sieg that he should have thought twice before accusing the Baron without any evidence to send him to jail. Defiantly, Sieg, being dragged away by the guards, insists that he's not wrong and that the Baron is a demon worshipper. Doubtfully, our guy wonders if Sieg can really help him graduate. Sieg's hero act is tanking his rep, and our guy's wondering if this kid is his ticket to graduation or a one-way trip to detention. As the scene shifts, a demonic figure reports to his master about hero Sieg's surveillance. Detailing the report, it states that Sieg has recovered quickly from the incident and received a new quest. Curiously, our guy learns that Sieg was helping a child find his lost pet. Scoffing, he remarks on how peaceful the kingdom is, to the point that the hero has nothing to do other than petty errands. Pet-finding quests? Sieg's out here playing hero for lost puppies, while our guy is running a demonic empire. Reflecting smugly, he thinks that the demon-worshipping cult, which now follows him, has become a vigilante committee that solves the kingdom's problems from the shadows. Meanwhile, two villagers discuss how amazing the hero is. Strategically, our guy thinks to himself that he is also working hard on raising his reputation by having his followers spread rumors about the prince's money-lending business and the king's inaction. Confidently, he believes that if this continues, his character points won't be negatively affected. Suddenly, the queen, now a demon worshipper, reports to the hero that, as he predicted, a group of elves raided the black market. Praising him, she calls his foresight amazing. Inquiring further, he asks how it went, and she reports that most of them died, but the violent leader elf was captured alive. Adding profitably, she notes that if the auction house gets rid of her, it would be very profitable for the church. Satisfied, our guy thinks, good, that future Elf King will now exit the stage. Elf King taken out via auction? Our guy's playing 4D chess with a demonic twist. Cautiously, he reasons that Professor Morals can't say anything since he didn't directly instigate it. Pondering his next steps, he wonders what's left to do. Recalling a key figure, he thinks about Alex, the future Sword King. Reflecting on past rounds, he remembers getting rid of the useless guy early on in the second round. Strategically, he continues, stating that Alex will be of use to him this time around, which is why he is still alive. Suddenly, Professor Morals appears, happy that he is finally acknowledging his comrade's worth. Sarcastically, our guy agrees, adding that even dog shit can be used for medicinal purposes. Dog shit for medicine? Our guy's savage burns are spicier than his demonic energy. As the scene shifts, the Royal Palace training grounds come into view, where Alex welcomes the hero, with an additional player, as Sieg is eagerly looking on. Sieg crashing the Sword King's training session? Our guy's third round is turning into a chaotic hero convention.
Triumphantly, our guy, Kang Han-soo, returns to the kingdom from the front lines after dealing with demon worshippers. At the Royal Palace's training grounds, Alex greets the two heroes, calling them fledglings, and comments that it's too bad the orientation was pushed back. His status window reveals expectant, malicious. Malicious Alex calling them fledglings? Kang Han-soo's already rolling his eyes at this Sword King wannabe. With a welcoming tone, he invites the heroes to the training grounds. Noticing their condition, he comments on their unmarred skin and says they haven't received proper training yet, but not to worry. Confidently, he declares that the best swordsman in the kingdom will raise them into excellent heroes and as soon as possible. Internally, the hero labels him Character 1, uselessly motivated. Eagerly, Sieg accepts the training, and our guy labels him Character 2, also uselessly motivated. Uselessly motivated duo? Kang Han-soo's handing out shade like it's a free-for-all roast. Suddenly, Alex announces that they have a special guest and tells everyone to mind their behavior. With grace, the queen appears, expressing her honor at meeting the heroes of the legend. Observing the situation, she notes that since two heroes have been summoned together, it will definitely be a huge benefit for the kingdom. Curiously, she adds that she can't help but be curious about something.
Questioningly, she asks which of the two heroes was selected to defeat the Demon King and wonders which of the two is the strongest. Without hesitation, our guy, Kang Han-soo, agrees to fight if that is what the Queen wants, much to Zieg's shock. Kang Han-soo's ready to throw hands at the Queen's request. Talk about a hero with zero chill. Officially, a royal advisor informs Alex that the heroes have given their permission, and the Queen adds she would like to see them fight each other first. Encouragingly, he tells the two heroes to do their best in their duel. Sternly, he warns them that his fist won't spare them if they surrender or run away in front of Her Majesty. Nervously, Zieg tries to appeal to our guy, reminding him that they are friends. With a stoic expression, our guy says that he doesn't want to fight his friend, but it can't be helped. Resolutely, he tells Zieg, "Let's do this," explaining that the Queen wants them to fight and that this is another way they can help the kingdom. Pointedly, he asks Zieg, "Isn't that what you wanted?" With glowing purple eyes, the Queen thinks about how horrible it is that things turned out this way, but that listening to people's problems and granting their wishes are part of a hero's duty. Purple-eyed Queen playing puppet master, Kang Han-soo's got her number, but he's still down to clown. Determined, Zieg takes off his glasses, thinking that doing these things for free is the norm and that they should listen to the honorable and beautiful Queen and do what she wants. Facing each other, Zieg and our guy stand in the arena, ready to fight. Boldly, Zieg clenches his fist, declaring, "I'm going for it, Han-soo." Our guy looks unimpressed and stays silent. Swiftly, Zieg rushes towards the hero, Kang Han-soo. In a flash, Zieg throws a desperate punch, but our guy easily sidesteps and delivers a sharp knee strike to his stomach. With a crazed grin, he asks Zieg why he's going so easy on him, and tells him to attack without holding back. Struggling, Zieg chokes and spits, trying to get up. As the crowd counts, the hero lands a series of devastating blows on Zieg. Zieg's getting a beatdown tutorial, and Kang Han-soo is the professor of pain. Amused, the Queen watches as our guy tells Zieg not to focus only on defense, but to fight back. In his internal monologue, our guy reveals his frustration, thinking that if he knew doing a hero's duties for free would be this fulfilling and fun, he would have done it sooner. Standing over a beaten and trembling Zieg, he asks when he will stop being so considerate. Reflecting cautiously, he thinks that he is the one being considerate, as Zieg would really die if he threw a real punch. Worriedly, he also considers that his reputation and character points would plummet if he killed him. Decisively, he lands a final powerful blow on Zieg. Immediately, priests rush to heal Zieg, noting that while his physical injuries can be easily healed with magic, it will take some time for him to recover mentally. Mental recovery? Zieg's gonna need therapy after Kang Han-soo's one-sided sparring session. From the back, Alex calls out to Kang Han-soo, asking him if he can't even tell the difference between a real fight and a light spar. Accusingly, he claims the hero has a sick hobby of torturing the weak and promises to engrave into his body what a truly strong individual looks like. Outraged internally, our guy wonders if Alex has any conscience. As the realistic training session begins, Alex acknowledges that the hero knows how to fight, but says it won't be enough. Revealing his strength, Alex's status window shows that he has the same abilities as in round 1, a considerably high level for these peaceful times. Unfazed, our guy, having experienced countless battles, remains confident. Mockingly, Alex taunts the hero for laughing, but the hero retorts that just one hit will make him lucid. With a powerful punch, Alex attacks, only for our guy to easily block it. With a sinister grin, he asks, "So, are you feeling lucid then?" A stunned Alex looks on. Alex thought he was the big shot, but our guy is serving lucid with a side of smirk. Satisfied, our guy thinks to himself that he complied with Alex's training session by fighting a truly strong individual. Reflecting gleefully, he notes that this was more fun than round 2. Since then, he observes that Alex doesn't call him to train anymore. Shifting to new issues, he complains about the heat. Explaining the situation, Lenouvel notes that the summer is quite unusual and that a food shortage is imminent if there isn't sufficient water. Lying in bed, he dismisses her concerns, saying that he is thinking of how to solve the problem. Casually, he asks Lenouvel if she isn't used to these people by now. Confidently, he tells her that his underlings will be of great help to the world as the cultists cheer him on. Suddenly, he has a realization about the food shortage. Cheerfully, he suggests that starting a war and reducing the population would be a natural solution.
Horrified, a terrified Chibi Lanuval looks on as he says this.
At the royal training grounds, Alex shouts, "Get up this instant, or should I thrust my knife into your ass?" Relentlessly, Alex tells a beaten and bruised Sieg that taking a break is a luxury for him until he gets his revenge. Struggling, Sieg tries to get up, and Alex encourages him not to give up. Motivatingly, he tells Sieg not to be afraid and to give it his all, as the magicians and healers are always ready. Then, Alex, all beaten up and hurting after getting bitten by our guy, winces in pain. Vengefully, he vows to get his revenge and kill Kang Han-soo. Trembling with rage, Sieg responds to Alex's commands. Internally, Alex thinks to himself that the scar on his pride will never heal if he can't get his revenge on Kang Han-soo. Questioningly, Alex asks Sieg if he'll be okay with just that when his injuries heal. He questions if Sieg could still have pride after being beaten like a dog every day of his life. Determinedly, he declares that the one who will defeat the Demon King is Hero Sieg. However, he adds that a hero who doesn't have an ounce of pride but is cut off by Sieg shouting, "Shut up!" Sieg snapping back. Looks like Alex's pep talk just sparked a rebellion. Critically, Alex points out that Sieg left his waist wide open during training. Furious, Sieg shouts that he's going to kill Alex, but Alex calmly reminds him that he'll die if he loses his cool. From a distance, our guy Kang Han-soo watches Sieg and Alex train, murmuring and asking, is he going to give up on getting revenge? Observing closely, he watches as Alex and Sieg continue their harsh training. Reflecting on changes, he notes that Alex has definitely changed after the orientation. No matter how many times Sieg tried to skip training or cursed at Alex, Alex never got angry or violent towards him, unlike in the first round. In the present, Sieg is shown crying from the harsh training. Stoically, Alex looks on, tolerating Sieg's whining and focusing on training him. Commandingly, he tells Sieg that when they return, he will do 100 laps around the training grounds. 100 laps? Alex is turning Sieg into a marathon-running hero, tears and all. As Sieg's status window appears, it indicates his impressive growth and change. Impressed, our guy Kang Han-soo thinks it's pretty amazing. Analyzing further, he reflects that if Sieg continues to improve at this pace for 3 years, he'll be ready to defeat the Demon King by himself, a feat that took him 10 years. Watching Sieg train, he realizes that there is something special about the faculty's hero candidate after all. Reluctantly, he admits that he has to acknowledge Professor Moral's plan was correct. Suddenly, Professor Morals appears, asking what is going on. Greeting her, our guy says he was observing the model student. Concerned, she tells him that she doesn't think the situation is normal. Metaphorically, she compares the situation to pouring cold water into a boiling cauldron, saying it does nothing more than kill the heat. Explaining further, she states that the hero candidate she recommended should still be at a premature stage of development, but his excessive rate of growth is abnormal. Feigning alarm, our guy asks if this means he has to kill Sieg right now, as he was already suspicious of him. Kill Sieg already? Kang Han-soo's solution to everything is just murder and move on. Calming him, Professor Morals tells him to calm down, explaining that she was trying to say the hero seems to be having a hard time. Admitting fault, she confesses she was careless. Meanwhile, Alex relentlessly trains Sieg, questioning if this is the limit of his willpower. Observing critically, Professor Morals notes that Alex's one-sided love seems to be tiring him out. Internally, our guy considers killing Alex, but Professor Morals asks if there are any other options. Pointing out fatigue, she notes that the heroes seem extremely fatigued and that the weather is also very hot. Agreeing sarcastically, our guy adds that this is exactly why he should kill Alex. He's not even giving Sieg a chance to breathe. Kill Alex for overtraining? Our guy's burnout cure is a bit stabby. Clarifying her intent, Professor Morals explains that she means the hero seems worn out. Empathetically, she tells him it's normal to harbor violent and aggressive thoughts when one is weary and asks if he's taken a break in the past few days. Admitting oversight, Kang Han-soo confesses that he didn't think about that.
Reflecting deeply, he considers how making decisions can be tiring, even if all he does is give orders while seated, especially when he has to solve all kinds of problems and take care of humans too drunk on demonic power. Sighing in realization, he understands why he's so tired, as he's doing the work for free instead of the useless Dumpling King. Dumpling King slacking off while Kang Han-soo's running a demonic HR department? No wonder he's burned out. Analyzing further, he adds that it's the result of taking on the responsibilities of both the kingdom and his duties as a hero. He seems to be suffering from burnout syndrome. Suggesting relief, she proposes he go on a vacation with his comrades, mentioning that while the drought is severe, Fantasia is still a very beautiful place, and the magic towers allow for instant travel. Inquiringly, she asks what he thinks about her generous proposal. Adding enticing options, Professor Morals suggests that the hero could meet gentle sea dragons if he goes to the mystical North Sea or explore the floating islands. Further recommending, she mentions the Lake of Mermaids, a place that retains its beauty even during a drought, and asks if he went to that place in the first round. Intrigued, our guy thinks the Lake of Mermaids sounds all right. Gratefully, he thanks Professor Morals and says he should hurry and gather his comrades. Surprised, Professor Morals reacts to how quickly he made up his mind. Internally, Arbe thinks to himself that the kingdom is suffering from a severe drought, with crops dying and people starving. However, it's not like there's nowhere to get water from. As the scene shifts, a massive, beautiful lake comes into view, which our guy explains is also a massive reservoir of clean water. Continuing his explanation, he states that it's large enough to provide farms with irrigation so people don't have to starve during the drought. Revealing the issue, he discloses the problem is the mermaids are a pretty violent race and are monopolizing the lake, letting people starve. Resolutely, he declares that getting rid of these evil fish monsters and saving the citizens from drought and starvation is our duty as heroes. Scheming ahead, our guy Kang Han-soo thinks to himself that he could even raise Sieg's level while eating some sashimi and maybe kill his old comrade. Self-satisfied, he concludes that he is a genius. Excitedly, Sieg asks if there will be a mermaid princess, and the hero confirms. Sieg's status updates to curious, will up. As they walk, Sieg asks why they have so many companions. Revealing the scale, a massive army is shown, and the hero explains that he doesn't plan on advancing with just a cozy little group. Elaborating, he notes that the entire royal knights and even the elite combat magicians were recruited. Visually, the army totaling 30,000 assembles before the Lake of Mermaids. Internally, the hero thinks to himself that he didn't come here to yap about peace and coexistence or have useless negotiations. With a crazed purple glowing eye, he declares, "This is a survival game!"
In his monologue, our guy breaks down the composition of the army. 3 officers at level 200, 5 magicians at level 150, 20 palace knights at level 180, 100 regular knights at level 130, and 300 probationary knights at level 100. Continuing, he continues the breakdown. 10,000 elite soldiers at level 10 and 20,000 conscripted soldiers at level 3. Meanwhile, a group of conscripted farmers asks if they will get food if they join the army. Assessing, the hero assesses the military strength as about average for a country next to the Demon King's territory. Average army for a demon-adjacent kingdom? Kang Han-soo's leading a ragtag crew straight out of a budget fantasy flick. Sighing heavily, he sighs, feeling the heavy burden of the crown and his shoulders feeling heavy. Reflecting deeply, he thinks about how he needs to find a way to not only ensure his graduation, but also save the people suffering from the drought. Additionally, he considers the need to spare the military in case the Demon King attacks the Dumpling Kingdom. Noting the Dumpling King always blames the demons for the country's problems. Dumpling King scapegoating demons? Classic politician move, just with extra doughy vibes. Explaining further, the excuse of blaming the demons was universally accepted in Fantasia. Moreover, he explains that the neighboring countries didn't want to get into a conflict with the Dumpling Kingdom because it was a sacrificial shield that the Demon King would attack first. Impressed, Sieg is impressed by the hero's knowledge, And the hero explains that because of the lack of conflicts, the military was weak and had no field experience. Posing a strategic question, he poses the question, but what if I got rid of the mermaids? Explaining that it would not only solve their water shortage issue, but also prepare the military for future battles against demons. Urgently, a general on horseback, Count, tells the hero they must hurry as the soldiers are already exhausted from the lack of food and water. As a status window appears, it shows the Count as a level 204 general with an uncomfortable status. Outlining, our guy explains his plan. They will build a dam to block the water from flowing into the lake, which will make the mermaids come out of the water. In his monologue, the hero identifies the Count as the expeditionary's commanding officer and one of the few who hasn't fallen for the demon worshippers' cult. Strategically, he thinks that no matter how tired the soldiers are, it'll be difficult for the mermaids to fight them if they can't use the water to their advantage. He points out on a map that the 3 rivers that flow into the lake belong to their kingdom, so they can just block them on their own without having to discuss it with the neighboring Holy Kingdom. Agreeing, the Count remarks that it's a pretty logical plan, but for a hero to suggest doing that, and that he's doing this for the peace of the kingdom. Revealing, our guy, Kang Han-soo, explains that he has only chosen leaders who haven't fallen for the demon cult's temptations. However, the Queen and our Lord Chancellor are planning to seize the remaining power in the kingdom and have their church control it. Curiously, our guy is curious to see how Count A will react when he finds out that his whole family has become demon worshippers. Count A's family gone demonic? Kang Han-soo stirring the pot for a family reunion disaster. With a cheerful expression, our guy asks if they should start the negotiations. Lenouval and Sieg are excited. Lenouval praises the hero for trying to solve the problem peacefully, and our guy teases her for acting like war was imminent. A relieved Lenouval expresses her joy, and the hero tells her she doesn't really know him, as he is a very peaceful person. Peaceful person? Kang Han-soo's version of peace is squeezing enemies until they beg? Internally, he thinks to himself that if he squeezes his opponent's weakness so much that they can't resist and offers them something they can't refuse, he'll be able to solve the matter easily and peacefully. Standing on a cliff, our guy, Lenouval, and Sieg overlook the lake. Back in the army camp, the Count asks the commander what he thinks. The commander explains that while it's taboo to interfere with the mermaids, they have agreed to cooperate with the hero after the Demon King's resurrection. Adding, he tells the hero that he's not the only one unsatisfied with him, but His Majesty places absolute trust in him. As the scene shifts, a group of conscripted farmers complain about the lack of food and hard labor, but acknowledge that a lot of people will be saved if the hero's plan works out. A knight points to the opposite side of the lake, where the Holy Kingdom's army has gathered to monitor them. He explains that if they fail, the Holy Kingdom will look down on them, and this is no longer about trusting the hero or not. He concludes that this is a survival game of humans versus mermaids and humans versus humans. Survival game showdown? Kang Han-soo's turning Fantasia into a geopolitical Hunger Games. Encouraging, a man shouts at the workers to hurry up and work properly. Reassuring, he encourages them not to worry about injuries as healers are on standby. Decisively, he declares that they have to completely block the river within the week. Questioningly, Lenouval asks our guy, Kang Han-soo, if he's really not planning on going to war with the mermaids. Responding, he replies that it depends on how they respond. Lenouval mentions that the previous heroes had friendly relations with the mermaids, calling the idea of a romance between a hero and a mermaid romantic. The hero dismisses her comment, saying it's only romantic when you know nothing. Romantic mermaids? Kang Han-soo's about to turn Lenouval's fairy tale into a fishy nightmare. As a flashback begins, it shows a hero arriving at the lake 100 years ago. He was led by the sound of a song and discovered a mermaid resting by the lakeside. Revealing, the mermaid was the queen of the mermaids and controlled the lake. Soon, the hero and the queen became lovers, but she couldn't leave the lake. Tragically, the hero ultimately failed to defeat the Demon King and met an unfortunate demise. Our guy explains that after the previous hero's death, a sad song can be heard at the lake on the anniversary of his death, which is how the place came to be known as the Sad Mermaid's Town. Scoffing internally, he wonders how much of an idiot the previous hero was to lose against a Demon King that already had a huge penalty. Idiot hero losing to a nerfed Demon King? Kang Han-soo's thrown shade at his predecessor's epic fail. Observing, Sieg points out that even though the place is called a mermaid town, he doesn't see any mermaids. Noticing, our guy Kang Han-soo notices that there are a lot of men in the mermaid town. He explains that this is because there aren't any male mermaids. He realizes that most of the townspeople are husband candidates for the mermaids. Husband candidates? Sounds like Mermaid Town's running a fantasy bachelor action. Entering an inn, our guy and Sieg are greeted by the owner. Welcoming the owner, a beautiful mermaid, asks if they are travelers crossing the lake. Noting, she tells them they came at a pretty busy time, as there is an army gathered by the lakeside, but she doesn't seem worried. Hiro recognizes her, thinking he hasn't seen her in a long time. Identifying, she is the owner of the lodge, the Mermaid Queen's daughter, the lake's second strongest mermaid, and one of his comrades from the first round. Internally, he calls her the Mermaid Bitch Princess Aqua. Princess Aqua, old comrade turned mermaid bitch? Kang Han-soo's reunion is dripping with salt.
Observing from afar, a commander from the Holy Kingdom's army peers through a spyglass, noting that the hero's army is dividing their troops. Puzzled, he wonders about their intention, as it seems too excessive for a diplomatic meeting with the Mermaid Queen. Seeking insight, he asks the Saintess what she thinks. Could they be planning to invade the Holy Kingdom? Uncertainly, she admits she cannot predict anything for certain. Suddenly, a messenger arrives with an urgent message from a spy. With a laugh of disbelief, the commander reads the message and hands it to the Saintess, who hopes that this unprecedented situation doesn't lead to a crisis they cannot solve. Holy Kingdoms freaking out over troop movements? Kang Han-soo's army is giving them diplomatic whiplash. At the inn, the mermaid princess, Aqua, asks the hero if he has come to take a look at the lake during this troubling time. With a cheerful smile, our guy, Kang Han-soo, says no. Pressing further, Aqua asks if he's here to target them, and our guy confirms that he is, and the lake as well. Shocked, Aqua reacts to his declaration. Swiftly, she attacks him with a large mallet. Mallet-wielding mermaid princess? Aqua's serving fishy fury with a side of steel. In his monologue, the hero explains that Aqua, the mermaid princess, and the owner of the town inn, was also the guardian of the lake and the mermaids. Comparing, unlike Alex, who focused on strength, Aqua specialized in speed and attack power. Effortlessly, our guy dodges her attack, calling her a rowdy fish. Observing, he notes that her weapon, which looks like an ordinary broom, is made completely from steel and can't be lifted easily by a bunch of high-level heroes. Additionally, he observes that her unhampered movement on land is unique among other mermaids. Recalling, he remembers the previous hero who visited the lake 100 years ago, calling him a dunce who failed to defeat the Demon King. Continuing, he remembers that the previous hero succeeded in leaving behind two things in Fantasia. First, a love story that archaeologists and minstrels would pine over. Pleadingly, Lanavel begs our guy in Aqua to calm down and solve things peacefully, calling their story romantic. As Aqua grips her steel broom like a spear, our guy continues his thoughts. Second, the monstrous sashimi, born from the Mermaid Queen. Defensively, Aqua tells our guy that her father, the previous hero, was a virtuous man, and that this is the first time she's seen a hooligan claiming to be a hero. With a sly smile, our guy asks how she knew he was a hero. Retorting, Aqua asks if he thinks they only get their information from the lake. Realizing, our guy understands they must know about the state of the human kingdom. Arguing, he tells them that while their heartless race is selfishly monopolizing the water, humanity's on the brink of starvation. Asserting, he argues that his effort to save humanity makes him a better hero than an idiot who couldn't even defeat the Demon King. With a hiss, Aqua spits out a deadly, acid-like poison, but our guy moves swiftly, dodging it with ease. As a drop of green liquid splashes, it sizzles and bubbles violently, eating away at the floor beneath it. Lanavel and Sieg exchange puzzled glances, unsure of what they're seeing. Acid-spitting mermaid? Aqua's bringing chemical warfare to this fish fight. Seriously, Aqua looks at our guy, her expression turning grim as she says, "You." With glowing red eyes, she tells the hero, "Don't expect a merciful death." Lunging, she shouts, "Die!" and brings her steel broom down in a powerful strike. Confidently, our guy, with a smile, taunts her, "So now you're showing your true colors, you monstrous fish?"
Furiously, she unleashes another stream of her green, acid-like poison toward him. With calm precision, Argai raises his sword and effortlessly blocks Aqua's attack. With fierce determination, Aqua lashes out with her steel broom, the impact shaking the ground, but Argai moves with ease, dodging her powerful blow. Wondering, he questions what kind of mermaid princess she really is, as his sword melts like butter from the green substance. Melted sword? Argai's fighting a mermaid who's part chemist, part wrecking ball. Concluding, he decides she's either an Axion or a Hicks Risk. As a status window appears, it shows Aqua is a level 318 mermaid hero with S-rank spearmanship and a status of Angry Psychotic. Noting, he observes that she's pretty strong because of her hero's blood. Recalling, he thinks to himself that he's memorized all of her movements from the first round. Swiftly, he grabs her and tells her she's not the only one with poisonous saliva. Shockingly, he kisses her, transferring his poison to her. Stunned, Aqua is shocked by the sudden kiss. In disbelief, Lanavel and Sieg are shocked to see Aqua collapse, wondering if she's dead. Poison kiss takedown? Argai is turning this into a toxic romance plot twist. Clarifying, Argai explains that she's on the brink of death as he can't kill the precious child of the Mermaid Queen. Strategically, he thinks that a live hostage would be more useful for a peaceful negotiation. Additionally, he considers the advantage of keeping his level low to make it easier to defeat the Demon King later. Suddenly, a Saintess rushes in shouting that something bad has happened to Aqua and that they've received information that the heroes are trying to hunt down mermaids. Shocked, she sees the unconscious Aqua. Carrying Aqua over his shoulder, Argai is confronted by Sieg, who is amazed to see a real Saintess. Sieg is fangirling over a Saintess while Argai is hauling a knocked-out mermaid. Priorities much. Groaning, Aqua stirs, and Argai wonders what's going on. Panicking, the Saintess clutches him from behind while he teases her, shouting that the hero has already escaped out the back. Realizing, Argai understands there's no way a Saintess wouldn't recognize a hero. Saintess falling for the old hero escape trick? Argai's running a masterclass in trolling.
In a flashback to his first round, our guy Kang Han-soo thinks that the path to becoming a hero is arduous. Looking weary, he reflects that the students kidnapped to become heroes in this new world were not warriors, more familiar with phones and keyboards than dangerous weapons like swords. Recalling, he notes that the most daring situation they had previously faced was an onslaught of mosquitoes. Mosquitoes as the ultimate foe? Kang Han-soo's first-round squad was clearly not ready for Fantasia's chaos. With a declaration of "as a result," he continues his thought with wide-eyed horror and shock. They were all used to a peaceful and safe life from a world where their decisions didn't lead to the deaths of those around them. In this uncivilized and barbaric world, he thinks it is not too late. With determination, a thought bubble exclaims, "It's not too late!" as he looks on with resolve, realizing it's essential to have a safety net to prevent a weak-minded hero from falling apart. As a glowing hand shines brighter on his companion's head, our guy realizes it's still possible to revive him. Contemplating, he thinks a so-called safety net, someone who can bring back the dead while following the hero on his adventures, is crucial. Appearing, a blonde woman, a saintess with her hands clasped in prayer, is not only a safety net for the faint-hearted hero, but also their guardian angel. Saintess as a revive button? Kang Han-soo's first round was like playing with cheat codes in a holy babysitter. Cutting back to the present inside the inn, Kang Han-soo looks on with a stern and slightly annoyed expression. Cheerfully, Sieg lets out a mischievous heh. Flustered, Lanouvel looks down, embarrassed. Performing a healing ritual, the Saintess places her glowing hands on the mermaid's stomach. In shock, she exclaims that she can't believe the patient's grave state, something she has never encountered before. Expressing disbelief, Lanouvel questions if our guy would kill the mermaid princess. With a sinister grin, Kang Han-soo corrects her, saying she's not dead, only fed a poison that causes internal organ failure, then stops himself from revealing his full intentions regarding his own level. Poisoned but not dead, Kang Han-soo is playing doctor with a side of demonic trolling. Suddenly, Aqua bolts upright with a loud "Kyak!" as the Saintess looks on in surprise. Accusingly, Aqua sits up and points at our guy, shouting, "Ah! You!" Violently, she coughs up blood.
Rushing to her side, the Saintess warns her not to overexert herself as she has just recovered from a fatal injury and her level has significantly decreased. As blood pools on the floor, Aqua weakly asks by how much her level dropped. Explaining, the Saintess says it was to the point she wasn't sure she could revive her, about 10 levels. Gently, she lays a hand on Aqua's forehead, telling her to rest, as Aqua lets out a pained groan. Wondering, our guy thinks, how do healers who help the wounded gain enough experience points to raise their level? As her status window appears, it shows the Saintess is a level 124 Saintess with the skills Faith, Cure, and Resurrection, and a status of Suspicious Uneasy. Revealing the truth, EXP pours into a glowing healing symbol, meaning healers can absorb their patient's experience points. The higher the patient's level, the more experience is lost. Questioning further, what happens when a patient is at level 1 with no experience points left? EXP stealing healers? Our guy is side-eyeing the Saintess like she's running an XP scam. At a table in the inn, our guy calls out, "Excuse me, Saintess?" Responding, the Saintess replies, "Yes, Hero Nim?" Eagerly, Sieg calls out to her again, and she encourages him to speak. Blushing intensely, Sieg's face lights up with excitement. With disgust, Kang Han-soo looks on while Sieg lets out a creepy, drawn-out Visibly uncomfortable, the Saintess reacts to Sieg's strange laughter. In a fantasy sequence, Sieg imagines himself as a valiant hero in golden armor, standing with the Saintess. Excitedly, he thinks, "The Saintess called me by name." In the fantasy, they confront a massive laughing red demon who proclaims that only the power of love can stop him. Passionately, Sieg declares that love, not the sword, will save the world, and that the Demon King is a trivial matter before their true love. Bewildered, the Saintess looks confused by his side. Defeated, the Demon King cries out in anguish, admitting he cannot win against them and calling them a despicable and enviable couple. As he flees, the Demon King bestows a curse upon them to live happily ever after. After the battle, Sieg tells the Saintess their adventure has ended, but she immediately responds with a firm "no." Affectionately, she declares, "I shall be with you for the rest of my life, Sieg." Or rather, darling, showing off a sparkling ring. Overjoyed, Sieg is overcome with joy. Sieg's daydreaming a rom-com with the Saintess, Bro's living in a shoujo manga while Kang Han-soo is plotting war. Back in reality, Lenouvel remarks that Sieg is acting strangely. Grinding his teeth, Kang Han-soo fumes, questioning how Sieg could be a model student and wondering if he has to act like that to escape this world. Wondering further, he questions what sins the Saintess committed in a past life to deserve this suffering. Poor Saintess, stuck with Sieg's creepy giggles. Kang Han-soo is ready to file a complaint with the gods. Confronting directly, the Saintess asks Kang Han-soo why he attacked Aqua and demands an explanation. Dramatically, with a somber expression, he shields his eyes and answers, "For peace." Questioning, the Saintess asks if he means Aqua is a menace to peace. With a sinister grin, our guy replies, "No," clarifying she's a hostage for peace, noting how much the Mermaid Queen treasures her. Outraged, Sieg jumps up, shouting, "Han-soo! That's not what a hero is supposed to do!" Continuing his tirade, he states that using a helpless princess for blackmail is wrong no matter how you look at it, declaring that his actions are something a Demon King would do. Smugly, Kang Han-soo retorts that his moralistic speech is something thousands of starving people who can't irrigate their farms would love to hear. Sieg's preaching hero morals, while Kang Han-soo is like, "Tell that to the starving farmers, buddy." Challenging, he tells Sieg to go to the starving people his idealistic views, offering to prepare a place for him. Taken aback, Sieg stammers that it's a bit much. Pressing, Kang Han-soo asks if Sieg is unwilling to do the dirty deeds himself and tells him to shut up if he can't. Interjecting, the Saintess argues that no matter how bad the kingdom's situation is, his methods are wrong, especially since they will affect the mermaids' lives. Dismissing, Kang Han-soo states the mermaids won't die from less water, they'll just be inconvenienced. Posing a moral dilemma, he asks the Saintess if she's content to watch her neighbors die from her own spacious lake. Insisting, the Saintess argues that the problem could have been solved through negotiations. Coolly, Kang Han-soo states that negotiation is exactly what he came to do. clarifying his method is to negotiate a profitable deal by blocking the streams and using a hostage. Negotiation by hostage and river blockade? Kang Han-soo's diplomacy is straight out of a villain's playbook. Distressed, the Saintess, wringing her hands, asks if he truly believes this is the only way. Firmly, our guy replies that unless she knows of a miracle that makes rain, then that is indeed the only way. Suddenly, a new voice exclaims, "There is!" Weakly, Aqua, the mermaid princess, stumbles into the room, barely holding herself up against the wall. With a determined look, she begins to say, "There's a miracle that can make rain."
With grim determination, Aqua clarifies that a miracle that creates heavy rainfall does indeed exist. Transitioning to a view from deep underwater, light filters down from the surface as Aqua's voiceover explains there's a legend about a guardian deity, dormant at the bottom of the lake. Narrating, she begins, "This is a tale from long ago." Flashing back, a bustling ancient city thrives under a bright, sunny sky. Suddenly, a villager looks up in alarm as a massive, dark object begins to eclipse the sun. Continuing the narration, Aqua states, "At least until that came." As a shadow falls, the city is plunged into darkness, now a dark, silent ruin. In the crushing darkness, a massive reptilian eye opens. With a heavy downpour, rain falls in dense sheets. Revealing, the narration explains that the continuous heavy rain flooded the town, showing a massive catfish-like creature swimming over the submerged ruins. Giant catfish apocalypse? Ululu's out here turning cities into its personal aquarium. Concluding, the narration states that created a lake safe haven atop the town, known as the guardian deity Ululu. Returning to the inn, Aqua reads from a book explaining that the mermaids sing lullabies to keep Ululu dormant and prevent further calamities. Skeptically, our guy, Kang Han-soo, questions if the creature is really a catfish, explaining that it's the first he's heard of this. Turning to Lenouvel, he asks if she knows anything, but she cheerfully denies ever hearing of it. Excitedly, Lenouvel asks Aqua if she can ask more questions, and Aqua, holding the book, calmly tells her to proceed. Curiously, Lenouvel points out that Ululu seems extremely dangerous and asks why it's called a guardian deity. Explaining, Aqua doesn't know the reason, only that it's been called that for generations, perhaps in hope that it will one day become one. Elaborating, she adds that Ululu can call rain at will, potentially drowning the world with its tears, but the mermaids have worked for 500 years to prevent such a disaster through their magically powerful lullabies, taking turns to maintain the song without outside help. 500 years of lullaby duty? Mermaids are the ultimate babysitters for a world-ending catfish. Angrily, Aqua glares, stating, "But despite our efforts, the hero has Burkett before trailing off and collapsing with a gah." Shocked, the Saintess looks on while Kang Han-soo remains impassive. Hopefully, the Saintess declares there's a peaceful solution, the heroes. Assuringly, she states Aqua wouldn't lie about Ululu's legend. Turning to Aqua, she asks if the drought would be solved if Ululu disappears. Confirming, Aqua says the rain will return, but questions how much rain there will be. Announcing boldly, the Saintess declares they shall subject Ululu, a flashing "help me" sign above her head revealing her true feelings. Explaining, she says this will save the human kingdom from the drought and free the mermaids from their 500-year duty. Skeptically, Kang Han-soo thinks, "This doesn't seem right." Enthusiastically, Sieg supports the Saintess, telling Han-soo her solution is the best. Excitedly, he adds that defeating Ululu will solve everything. Laughing weirdly, Sieg tells Han-soo to trust him and the Saintess. Annoyed, Han-soo looks on, thinking, "That little..." Calming himself, he grabs his hat to think logically. Analyzing, he lists his first point. Ululu, a giant catfish, exists with the power to turn a town into a lake, confirmed by its slumber in the ruins. Second, the mermaids can't handle Ululu, keeping it asleep for 500 years. Holding up 3 fingers, he announces the most important part. Bluntly, he asks Aqua for her current level. Suspiciously, she asks why, noting heroes can see levels, then angrily accuses him of being a fake, saying his trashy personality makes sense. Firing back, he calls her a half-bred fish. Trashy personality versus half-bred fish? Kang Han-soo and Aqua are throwing insults like it's a roast battle.
As they butt heads, the Saintess weakly pleads for calm. Resentfully, Aqua reveals she's level 310, dropped due to Hansu's actions, and the Mermaid Queen is around level 500, with her sisters averaging level 250 and ordinary mermaids at level 50. Critically, Hansu asks if they're expected to defeat a monster the powerful mermaids couldn't handle for 500 years with just 2 beginner heroes. Intently, he asks Aqua, "What are our odds?" Silently, Aqua admits their chances are low. Exploding in anger, Hansu threatens to turn her into sashimi for suggesting an impossible plan. Sashimi threats again? Hansu Kong has a one-track mind for fishy vengeance. Aghast, the Saintess questions if he's truly a hero. Determined, Sieg shouts, "Hansu!" and repeats that they won't know until they try. Calmly, Hansu tells him to take the lead. Shocked, Sieg freezes, stammering, "Huh?" Disdainfully, Hansu thinks Sieg is an idiot for not knowing when to butt in. Defeated, Sieg admits he's only level 3 and can't lead. Sinisterly, Hansu's monologue reveals that if Sieg dies in battle, his reputation and character points would be safe. With a spark of realization, a new idea forms. Excitedly, a small creature on Sieg's shoulder lets out a "quee-quee." Imagining Sieg swallowed by a catfish, Hansu gets a goofy, hopeful look, thinking, "Actually, this might be all right." Reassuringly, he tells a confused Sieg not to worry. With a blindingly cheerful expression, he gives a generic heroic speech, exclaiming, "You never know until you try," adding they have the power of love and friendship. Passionately, Lenouvel supports defeating Ululu, excited to research a forgotten legend. Dismissing, Hansu with a sinister smile states, "I didn't ask you." Lenouvel is hyped for legend research, and Hansu Kang is like, "Nobody asked, nerd." Dejected, Lenouvel mutters she can help with magic. Inspired, the Saintess declares she'll help for peace and her friend Aqua, who thanks her, blushing. Cynically, Hansu thinks love and friendship can just go commit dead. Revealing his true plan, the plan equals the death of Hero Sieg is off to a great start.
United in purpose, the party stacks their hands together, with Kang Han-soo declaring their shared goal to defeat the guardian deity Ululu. Excitedly, La Nouvelle expresses her thrill, feeling like she's finally on a proper hero's adventure, and asks the others for their thoughts on the legend. Resolutely, the Saintess states she will perform her duties for peace and friendship. Flustered but determined, Sieg stammers that he will do his best alongside the Saintess. With resignation, Aqua agrees to the plan for her sisters in the lake. Smugly, Kang Han-soo looks on with a knowing smile, remaining silent. Internally, he scoffs, "What a bunch of morons." Transitioning to a deep underwater view, the party looks up towards the light on the lake's surface. On a bright day, red flags wave in the wind as Kang Han-soo welcomes a guest. Cheerfully, he greets the newcomers, saying he's been waiting and has prepared a document covering all key points, urging her to sign it. Anxiously, the Mermaid Queen asks, "Where is Aqua?" Reassuringly, our guy replies, "She's doing well," urging her not to be anxious. With a reassuring smile, he tells her to trust the hero, insisting there's no way the princess she treasures would get hurt. In shock, the queen reacts as a plate of perfectly grilled fish is placed on the table, an unspoken threat. Grilled fish as a negotiation tactic? Kang Han-soo's serving up threats with a side of seafood. In his voiceover, Kang Han-soo adds the condition as long as you sign the document. Trembling, the queen's hand hovers over the scroll with a quill. Satisfied, our guy rests his chin on his hand with a smug expression. Explaining, he states he has a responsibility as the kingdom's supervisor, and the contract outlines fair cooperation. As the queen signs, she specifies the contract is between the mermaids of the Lake of Sad Songs and the human kingdom. Coldly, our guy's inner monologue reveals he won't be swayed by pleas for love and friendship. Reading aloud, the first term states that, as members of the human kingdom, the mermaids shall obey its laws, shocking a mermaid attendant. Mermaids under human law? Kang Han-soo's turning the Lake of Sad Songs into a bureaucratic nightmare. Introducing the second term, the Mermaid Kingdom must send 3 princesses to a specially designed lake in the human kingdom's palace gardens as special guests, selected by the queen herself, with her held responsible for any impersonators. Bored, our guy slumps over the table, as a knight comments that it's a fitting demand from an occupier. In despair, the queen questions why the terms are so harsh. Coldly, Kang Han-soo gives a simple ultimatum.
If she doesn't like the terms, there will be war. Revealing on a map, dam construction projects on the rivers flowing into the Lake of Sad Songs are nearly complete. Shifting to Aqua resting in bed, our guy's voiceover notes she's the only mermaid who can fight well on land, reminding the queen that her youngest daughter is in their care. Advising, he suggests she make a wise decision as war offers no benefit to the mermaids. Promising, he adds that by choosing trust and coexistence, the mermaids will be protected by the kingdom and its heroes, and Ululu will be handled by the humans. Conflicted, the queen says her kingdom has always remained neutral, but now she must choose between her people and the Holy Kingdom. Menacingly, our guy states the time for that choice has come. Neutrality's out, ultimatums are in. Kang Han-soo's playing hardball with the mermaid monarchy. Silently, the queen sits at the negotiating table. Confidently, our guy's thoughts declare the borders between their kingdoms will now be safe. Admitting, the queen tells Kang Han-soo he's nothing like the hero she loved before. Smugly, he replies, but of course, internally noting he's different because he never lost to the Demon King Petanar. Shading the old hero's love life, Kang Han-soo's flexing his Demon King slaying resume. Triumphantly, in front of a crowd of soldiers, he holds up the signed treaty, declaring the mermaids are now part of our kingdom. Proclaiming, he states that the kingdom's hero, Zieg, shall protect them all. Stunned, Zieg stammers, "Huh? Wait, me?" With a terrifying demonic aura, our guy looms over Zieg, questioning if he should do everything himself just because he's the only hero. Weakly, Zieg protests he's only level 3. Pressing, our guy adds that Zieg should at least do this much and not push all the work onto his friend. Smirking, his inner monologue reveals satisfaction that the vanguard for the Ululu subjugation is settled, allowing Zieg to fight like a hero and leave a legacy. At a military camp, our guy states that even if Ululu is a guardian deity, it's just a glorified fish, and we'll have a chance if we drag it out of the water. Pointing to a map, he explains the first part of his plan. Empty the waters from the ruins where Ululu sleeps, to bring it onto dry land. Praising, a knight commends the plan, but laments that soldiers cannot breathe underwater for construction. With a knowing look, our guy raises a finger, declaring there's a way for soldiers to breathe underwater and construct things. Underwater construction, our guy's got a plan so slick it's practically waterproof. Transitioning to an underwater view, mermaids swim gracefully as our guy reveals a contract condition. The mermaids are now part of the human kingdom's military. In shock, a blonde mermaid shows disbelief, her face close up with confusion and alarm. In the dark depths, 2 mermaids swim near glowing blue orbs. Boasting, our guy's inner thoughts declare, "And as always, my plans are perfect," claiming success in finding the best solutions. Lamenting, he notes that his plans for graduation always fail. In the depths, Ululu awakens, its eye glowing red as it roars. Blaming, our guy concludes that those idiots who keep pulling me down cause my failures. Thoughtfully, he looks down with a subtle, knowing smile, thinking, and now things are starting to feel off again. Ululu's waking up, and our guy's blaming his squad for jinxing his A+ grade.
While tending to Aqua in bed, the Saintess listens as our guy, Kang Han-soo, continues his thought that everything was going according to plan, or at least until those idiots butted in. Frustrated, he yells, questioning why the lake looks weird and what that even means. Urgently, a soldier urges him to look for himself, and our guy freezes, shocked by the chaos unfolding. Shifting to the lake, its waters churn violently beneath a dark, foreboding sky. Weird lake vibes? Kang Han-soo's perfect plan is drowning in cosmic catfish chaos. Standing on a cliff, Kang Han-soo observes the chaos and mutters, "The guardian deity." Suddenly, a mermaid is forcefully ejected from the water by a massive wave, landing hard on the rocks near him. Gasping for air, the exhausted mermaid manages to say that the deity is awake. Transforming, her fishtail turns into human legs as she urgently warns everyone to run. Now fully human, the terrified woman trembles as our guy questions, "The guardian deity is awake?" As the ground trembles, it reflects the immense power of the awakened being. Emerging from the turbulent water, a massive shadowy creature with glowing red eyes rises under a blood-red sky. Watching from the shore, Kang Han-soo thinks his suspicions were right. Gathering energy, an orb of bright, destructive power forms in front of the creature's eye.
Confirming internally, his monologue states, "My suspicions were right." In a flashback, his Round 3 report card shows an unfair F for character, noting he'd be a danger to Earth if allowed to graduate. F for character? Kang Han-soo's getting graded like he's the villain in a cosmic detention center. Reflecting, bitterly he thinks of Sieg, the model student he never dreamed of following, and the endless repetitive faces in this fantasy world. With growing frustration, he recalls his intensifying desire to leave this barbaric world. Yet he never gave up, always trying his best. Recounting, he remembers saving citizens from a tyrannical king and working to alleviate the recent drought. So why are things getting worse? Urging, she tells our guide to see the disaster himself. Explaining, the Saintess and Aqua say that no matter how much they sing, the guardian deity won't return to sleep. Questioning, our guy asks why. Angrily, Aqua elaborates that their song's emotions, which power the lullaby, have changed. Clarifying, she explains that lullabies need warm, happy emotions to induce sleep, but other emotions weaken them. Blaming, she screams that they had the situation under control until our guy's actions woke Ululu, turning their gentle lullaby into a song of longing and sorrow due to their land's invasion and forced exile of their princesses. Accusingly, she shouts, "You are the cause of our sadness." Aqua is blaming Kang Han-soo for bad vibes. Guess his hostage plan turned the mermaid's lullaby into a heartbreak playlist. Stunned, our guy looks at his hands, thinking, "I see, I just realized what went wrong." With a dark shadow over his face, he concludes his mistake was being too lenient with the mermaids, believing he should have oppressed them with power and fear from the start. Angrily, he thinks, "Those damned fish tried to ruin my perfect plan by refusing to sing properly." Lenient with mermaids? Kang Han-soo's kicking himself for not going full dictator mode on the fish squad. Arriving, Lanavel and Sieg announce their support. Rallying, a knight commander raises his sword, ordering archers and magicians to line up. Targeting, heavily armored archers draw their bows as a hooded magician summons a fireball, shouting, "Taking aim!" With the final command, "Fire!" a massive volley of flaming arrows and magical projectiles fills the sky, hurtling toward Ululu. Unfazed, our guy watches as the smoke clears. As Ululu's status window appears, it reveals a level 999 plus Chaos Titan with a lake-specific buff, which our guy calls bothersome, noting the attack had no effect. Level 999 plus Chaos Titan? Our guy's up against a catfish god with cheat code stats. Turning to Lanavel, he tells her to prove herself and take responsibility. Horrified, Lanavel exclaims, "What?" Ordering, he commands her to drag Ululu out of the lake with her magic, reminding her of her research commitment. Panicking, Lanavel's eyes swirl as he threatens her with becoming a criminal who destroyed a town. Lanavel's on criminal trial for a catfish? Our guy's throwing her under the bus with no remorse. Giving in, she agrees to try anti-gravity magic, unleashing a powerful blast of white energy while screaming with effort. Despite their efforts, their magic seems ineffective against Ululu's overwhelming power, making them look like tiny stick figures on the shore. Shockingly, Ululu is violently yanked out of the water, levitating in the air, crying in confusion. Amazed, our guy asks if this is real, while Sieg cheers for Lanavel, but our guy tells her to stop acting cute. In shock, our guy's eyes widen as Ululu's body transforms. Descending, a massive humanoid foot slams down, crushing the ground where the heroes stood. Calling out, Lanavel asks, "Hieronym, are you all right?" Floating safely in a protective bubble, our guy nervously replies, "For now," asking, "What just happened?" Terrified, Lanavel, covered in dirt, looks at the colossal figure and asks, "What on earth is that?" Fuming internally, our guy thinks, "That Aqua bitch didn't tell us everything." Aqua is holding out on the catfish to giant plot twist? Our guy's ready to file a complaint with the mermaid HR department. Revealed in its new form, Ululu is a giant, muscular humanoid with a catfish head and a glowing pearl between its legs. Horrified, our guy thinks the guardian deity isn't just a catfish, but a giant with a catfish head. catfish-headed bodybuilder with a glowing crotch pearl, Ululu's serving looks that scream final boss energy.
The colossal being takes a step forward, its immense form towering over the terrified villagers below. The giant's foot descends as the villagers run for their lives, screaming in terror. The massive foot is just moments away from crushing a fleeing villager. The giant's foot smashes into the ground, completely obliterating the village and its inhabitants in a devastating impact. A close-up shows the creature's single glowing red eye, reflecting the tiny image of a falling victim. The giant stands tall amidst the smoldering ruins of the village it has just annihilated. Ololo's playing Village Stomping Simulator, and the villagers didn't sign up for this DLC. Lanovel spots something amidst the rubble left by Ololo's transformation and calls out Aqua and the Saintess. Kang Han-so's narration observes that they look fine despite the surrounding chaos. Our guy rushes towards Aqua and the Saintess as Sieg trips and falls in the background. He angrily points at Aqua for claiming the guardian deity was just a giant catfish. Aqua shouts back, denying that she ever said it was a giant catfish. Kang Han-soo then confronts her with the picture she showed him in the book. Aqua furiously clarifies that the picture was from a kid's fairy tale and was only meant to be a symbol. She explains that they use a simplified, less scary version of Ololo to avoid terrifying the mermaid children. Kid-friendly catfish propaganda? Aqua's fairy tale just unleashed a Titan-sized PR disaster. Lanovel and the Saintess cower in fear as Kang Han-soo and Aqua continue to argue. He once again threatens to turn her into sashimi. Kang Han-soo turns away from Aqua, cutting off their argument. Sieg looks up at the colossal creature and asks the hero what they should do now. Our guy with his back to them calmly states that they are still going to follow the plan. He declares with a sinister grin that the legendary hero Sieg will be the vanguard and fight for them. Sieg screams in terror, reminding them that he is only level 3. Level 3 Sieg is the frontliner. Kang Han-soo is throwing him to the catfish like he's bait on a hook. Meanwhile, an archer commander gives an order to aim at the creature's ankle. A line of archers readies their bows. The commander shouts, "Fire!" and the archers release a volley of arrows which rain down on the giant's leg. The arrows harmlessly bounce off Ololo's thick hide. The giant creature looks down at its leg, seemingly unfazed, and lets out a "Yulolo." The knight commander realizes the futility of their attack, stating that it won't work. He immediately orders all his troops to retreat and save themselves. The soldiers turn and flee as Ololo raises its massive foot, preparing to stomp them. The giant's foot smashes down, crushing the fleeing soldiers. Ololo's treating soldiers like ants at a picnic. Stomp city population, ouch. Our guy at that moment activates Master Molong's skill Vision Strengthening. His eyes glow blue as the power surges, and he explains that this ability lets him borrow the vision of any creature from the Mongolian meadows with a rating above 6.0. Using his enhanced vision, he observes that the arrows did in fact hit their mark. Lanovel, surprised, asks if he learned magic. Kang Han-soo casually replies that it's not magic, but science. Science-powered eye zoom from Mongolian critters? Kang Han-soo is out here with his Isekai binoculars! Aqua tells him that arrows won't work due to the creature's thick hide. However, Kang Han-soo dismisses her, saying that she still doesn't understand. With a confident smirk, our guy clarifies that the arrows are embedded in its skin and did not simply bounce off. He explains that Ololo's lake's blessing wore off when it came out of the water, putting it at a disadvantage. He admits that he doesn't know why the creature would willingly leave the water and put itself in a vulnerable position. Lanovel asks if the creature is simply angry and chasing them, but the Saintess expresses her uncertainty. The Saintess observes that Ololo seems surprisingly calm for a creature whose sleep was disturbed, noting that it isn't even looking at them. Sieg excitedly exclaims that it's exactly what the Saintess had said. The Saintess explains that rather than trying to attack people, the creature is likely looking for something. Sieg suggests that this is their chance to find a peaceful way to defeat it. Our guy pats him on the shoulder and says, "Yeah, you're right, let's fight it now." He continues saying that it is best to attack an opponent when they are not ready, saying that his legend of dying honorably in the name of love and friendship will live on forever. Sieg's honorable death speech? Kang Han-soo is already planning his funeral playlist. A horrified Sieg shouts, "Wait, Han-soo died?" Then pleads to find a peaceful solution. Our guy shoves Sieg forward, urging him to go and embrace the path to honor that awaits him. As Sieg is unwillingly pushed into battle, the Saintess asks Aqua if they should go as well. Aqua, leaning on a mop for support, grumbles that Kang Han-soo is not fit to be called a hero. With a grudging smirk, she admits that despite this, he's got guts. Aqua's throwing shade but giving props. Kang Han-soo's anti-hero swagger is winning her over. The Saintess observes that Aqua seems different, and Lanovel agrees, adding that the hero is also a bit special.
Kong Hanso charges into battle with Sieg close behind, announcing their arrival as they rush to confront the giant. Kong Hanso grabs Sieg and hurls him directly at Ololo. He shouts at Sieg to distract the creature as much as possible, sending him flying through the air. A small, comically drawn Sieg is shown being chased by the giant's hand. Sieg's a screaming human projectile. Kong Hanso is turning him into the ultimate distraction meat shield. Kong Hanso's narration box reveals his sinister satisfaction, hoping that the creature gets killed by the creature. Our guy watches with a pleased smile, secretly wishing the creature would kill Sieg, the perfect way to get rid of him without sullying his own reputation or losing character points. Kong Hanso sizes up the giant and wonders to himself what the best way to kill it would be. He lets out a determined "ha" as he clenches his fist, gathering his power. His arm burls with muscle and power as he prepares to strike. A notification announces the activation of Master Molong's body-strengthening skill, Maximum Output. Our guy lets out a grunt of exertion as he powers up, his body crackling with energy. A massive pillar of white energy erupts from the ground, shooting up towards the sky with immense force. Maximum Output mode? Kong Hanso is powering up like he's auditioning for an anime finale. Kong Hanso's narration observes that the creature has a fish head, but it looks and moves like humans. He is shown running up Ololo's massive arm, using his enhanced strength and speed. He continues his analysis, concluding that if its movements are human-like, its bone and muscle structures must be similar as well. He realizes that this means its weaknesses would also be the same as a human's. With a confident and slightly crazy grin, he thinks to himself, "Now shall I test it out?" With a powerful battle cry, our guy rockets through the air towards Ululu. He lands a direct, powerful punch to the giant's chest, creating a massive, glowing impact. However, Ululu looks down at its chest, letting out a confused and questioning "Ulu?" as if it barely felt the attack. Ululu stands tall again, seemingly completely unfazed by our guy's full power attack. Now on the ground, our guy looks up with a frustrated expression, realizing his attack was ineffective. He clenches his fist on the ground, admitting to himself that his skills are not strong enough to defeat the creature, and that he can only make it stumble. For instance, a memory or analogy plays out, where a small fly threatens a giant's neck, but the giant is completely unimpressed. He explains that even knowing a vital point requires a certain amount of strength to be effective. Moreover, our guy looks up at the massive creature, comparing his own presence to that of a tiny, insignificant fly. Additionally, the massive level gap between Ululu, level 999+, and Kong Hansu, level 85, becomes clear. He realizes he needs a higher level to win. Our guy sits on the ground in a comical pose of frustration, shouting, "Damn it!" and wondering how he's supposed to level up in this situation. His internal monologue reveals his dilemma. It will be bothersome if his level is too high when he eventually tries to defeat the Demon King. Meanwhile, Sieg is sent flying through the night sky like a projectile. He crash lands headfirst into a bush with a loud thud. A dizzy and disoriented Sieg, with swirls for eyes, complains to Kong Hansu about being thrown so suddenly. Sieg's a human piñata, and Ululu's not even swinging. The giant Ululu turns its massive, glowing red eye towards Sieg's location, letting out a questioning "Ulu?" A terrified Sieg looks up at the colossal creature now looming over him. Ululu looks down with a confused expression at the tiny Sieg, who has somehow landed on its shoulder and is letting out a small scream. From a safe distance, Kong Hansu cups his hands and shouts encouragement, telling Sieg that he's doing a great job distracting the monster. Sieg, now on the creature's cheek, panics and screams that he won't last even 0.1 seconds and could be eaten in a single bite. Our guy gives a cheerful and reassuring thumbs up, telling Sieg not to worry because he will remember his sacrifice. He then cruelly adds that he'll only remember it for an hour before wishing the hero Sieg of the legends good luck. 1 hour memorial for Sieg? Kong Hansu's giving him the budget hero eulogy. Ululu opens its massive, toothy maw, ready to devour Sieg, who screams for someone to save him. Cowering in fear, Sieg cries about his short adventure with the Saintess and wails that he doesn't want to be food for a fish. Sieg's whining about fish food fate? Bro, you're the main course in Ululu's sushi buffet. A terrified Sieg peeks out from his hiding spot in the bushes, surprised by what he sees. Ululu stands calmly, its glowing red eye looking peaceful as it lets out a soft, rumbling sound. Lanavel floats down in her protective bubble, cheerfully greeting Sieg. He asks her about Kang Han-soo's whereabouts. Sieg points out that Kang Han-soo is on the creature's head. Lanavel observes that Ululu seems much calmer than they would have expected. She elaborates, saying that she thought it would create a huge ruckus after being forcefully awakened, but it seems very calm. Our guy points out that, of course, the creature has already caused a lot of damage just by walking around. Perched atop the giant's head, Kang Han-soo assesses the situation with a sigh, realizing that Sieg is even more useless than he first thought, expressing his disappointment that the creature wasn't reckless enough to kill a young hero in one go. Our guy complains about the creature's passive behavior, questioning why it isn't acting more aggressively after being woken up. Suddenly, Ululu's whisker twitches as it lets out another soft, curious sound. A mysterious, ornate red sword then begins to glow and resonate. As if sensing the sword, Ululu's head turns, its glowing red eye looking intently towards something. All of a sudden, Ululu reacts with a jolt, letting out a surprised, "Huh!" The giant lets out a loud roar as Kang Han-soo looks on, confused by the sudden change in its behavior. Our guy thinks to himself, "There's a saying, be careful." The Ululu rears back, its massive form tensing up. The saying concludes, "Be careful what you wish for." Be careful what you wish for? Kang Han-soo is about to regret wanting action from this catfish colossus. The giant leaps into the air with incredible force, creating a massive shockwave that tears through the landscape, soaring through the air heading towards a distant mountain. He shouts after the departing creature, asking where it is going. Furious, Kang Han-soo clings to Ululu's head, shouting at the giant to stop. A notification appears, highlighting Ululu's Destruction SS skill, confirming that the giant is making its escape. Ululu lands with incredible force on top of a mountain, letting out a powerful roar. The giant's landing shatters the mountaintop, sending rocks and debris flying. Since Ululu possesses a rank SS destruction skill, every step it takes is like an explosion. The creature begins to run, each footfall creating a massive, destructive shockwave that tears through the landscape. Moreover, there was one more problem he was unable to predict. Lanavel and Sieg arrive in their bubble, calling out to our guy. Lanavel expresses her relief that Kang Han-soo is safe. She quickly warns him that the monster is heading for a specific location. Kang Han-soo cuts her off, saying that he already knows. Lanavel's late to the party with her warnings. Kang Han-soo's already riding the Catfish Express. As he hangs onto the back of the rampaging giant, Kang Han-soo realizes the direction it is heading. He understands that Ululu is heading towards the center of the Dumpling Kingdom, running towards the most populated area, which means at this rate, the current situation is going to be a repeat of the disaster caused by Nanobius. Our guy yells at a terrified Lanavel, ordering her to do whatever she can to stop the rampaging giant. He berates her, saying that she should be able to do her job properly if she wants to stay by a hero's side. A determined Lanavel agrees. Our guy resolves that he can't let the creature reach the populated areas and pushes his body strengthening skill to its maximum limit, even though he was doing pretty good in this round. Doing pretty good? Kang Han-soo's A+ round is about to get an F for Fishtastrophe. Meanwhile, Ululu continues its rampage, and it inadvertently steps on a smaller reptilian monster, sending it flying. This suggests if the giant just stepped on a monster den, similar to what the Oblivion Dragon King had done in the past. A resigned Kang Han-soo looks on, realizing there's no helping the situation now. Steam rises from his powered-up arm as he thinks to himself that he was trying to avoid gaining useless experience points, but now he has no choice. He reveals his internal conflict. If I ruin my reputation and achievements here, it will be all for naught. Kang Han-soo leaps high into the air, soaring through the night sky alongside the smaller monsters that were awakened by Ululu's rampage, and shouts, "Let's graduate!" Graduation via Monster Mash? Kang Han-soo's turning this catastrophe into a diploma chase. He thinks with an intense, determined expression as he resolves to act for real this time. He clenches his fist with grit and determination, ready to face the challenge head-on.
A group of boar-like monsters rumble in a forest, disturbed by the chaos. Ululu's giant foot comes crashing down, stomping through the forest with immense force. The giant continues its destructive rampage, leaving a trail of explosions in its wake as our guy runs ahead of it. The creature's SS-rank destruction skill obliterates everything in its path. Meanwhile, a flashback shows an angry mob protesting against the irresponsible hero to step down. Professor Morel informs our guy that his reputation is at an all-time low, and that he won't be graduating this time either. She expresses her disappointment and reminds him that they even provided a model student for him to follow. The memory of Sieg smugly explaining that the difference between him and Kang Han-soo is a difference in talent flashes through his mind. Sieg's smug talent talk? Kang Han-soo's getting flashbacks of his rival's A+ smirk while stuck with an F- life? With a grit of his teeth, our guy resolves that he will never let that future happen. As he runs, he is confronted by a giant boar monster. With his eyes glowing red, he swiftly slashes through the monsters in his path. Numbers indicating experience points flash by as he complains that the leveling is too slow. Frustrated, he curses and complains that this EXP ride sucks compared to the one with Nebius. Lame EXP ride? Kang Han-soo's grinding monsters like it's a budget RPG with bad drop rates. At that moment, La Nouvelle and the others arrive on the scene. Aqua, the Saintess, and Sieg arrive to help, explaining that Ululu's rampage has drawn out all the other monsters in the area. Our guy internally curses, frustrated that he can't hunt down the small fry fast enough, which has drawn the attention of his party members, whom he calls damned hyenas. Aqua calls out to the hero, asking for his plan and how they can help. Our guy sighs, then orders La Nouvelle to tie Ululu's legs together. A stunned La Nouvelle asks how she is supposed to do that. A determined La Nouvelle declares that she will do her best, on her honor as the royal historian. She unleashes a powerful blast of magic towards the giant's feet. She shoots a beam of pure energy from her hand. The magic envelops Ululu's feet, freezing the ground around them in a thick layer of ice. As the giant takes a step, its foot is momentarily stuck to the ice. However, before La Nouvelle can celebrate, Ululu's foot slips on the ice. The giant loses its balance, much to Kang Han-soo's surprise. Ululu falls backwards, its massive body crashing to the ground with a tremendous thud. La Nouvelle's ice trap actually worked. Ululu's doing the world's biggest faceplant thanks to her. The impact sends a massive cloud of dust and debris into the air, forcing Aqua to shield herself. Our guy calls out to Aqua, telling her that he needs her help. As Aqua says she was already planning to help, Kang Han-soo suddenly grabs her. He tells her that he will take care of the rest, to which she replies with a confused, "The rest?" Before she can fully process this, Kang Han-soo kisses her, much to her shock. The Saintess and Sieg look on with expressions of pure horror and disbelief. Another poison kiss? Kang Han-soo's turning Aqua into his personal knockout punchline. A flustered and confused Aqua pushes him away. A notification appears, announcing the activation of Venom SS. Aqua collapses to the ground unconscious, as the Saintess and the others look on in horror. The Saintess rushes to Aqua's side, demanding to know why Kang Han-soo killed her. Our guy calmly addresses the Saintess and simply tells her to revive Aqua. The Saintess is outraged, pointing out that Aqua came all this way to help him despite her injuries. A dark purple aura swirls around our guy, as he calmly replies, "I know." Calmly poisoning allies, Kang Han-soo's chill villain vibes are giving everyone whiplash. He looks down at the unconscious Aqua, stating that he will take responsibility and get back her lost levels. With a cold, sinister smile, he tells the Saintess to stop yapping. A swirling vortex of dark purple energy surrounds our guy. He explains that he has no time to hunt for EXP and that opening a level 300 gift box is his only option to get strong enough in time. His status window updates, showing his level skyrocketing from 21 to 85. His race is now Chaos Human, and his class is Hero EXP 500%. Our guy notes that although his level only quadrupled, the boost to his high-rank skills makes his true increase in strength incalculable. Level 85 Chaos Human with a 500% EXP boost? Our guy's power-up is like hacking the game code. Ululu, having recovered, begins to rise from the ground. Suddenly, a thin, powerful beam of light shoots down from the sky, striking the ground in front of the giant. Our guy is seen descending from the sky at incredible speed. With a furious expression, he declares his first move. He delivers a powerful, direct blow to the giant's neck. The attack connects with devastating force, creating a massive, explosive impact. Neck punching a titan? Our guy's going for the jugular like it's a cosmic boxing match.
A sickening crack is heard as our guy twists the giant's head with immense force. He leaps away from the creature, having delivered a devastating blow. Kang Han-soo lands on the giant's head, listening to the satisfying sound of its bones and tendons breaking. He notes that the EXP gift box was super effective. However, the giant lets out a pained and confused "Ululu?" Ululu's massive body begins to fall backwards with a heavy thud. A flash of purple energy emanates from Kang Han-soo's fist. He powers up for his next attack, his arm glowing with a powerful purple aura. Cracking titan necks like a chiropractor? Kang Han-soo's serving pain with a side of purple glow. He unleashes a powerful technique, Master Malong's secret technique, body control. He activates all his skills, his body glowing with immense purple energy. A massive pillar of light erupts from our guy, signaling the release of his full power. He stands atop the fallen giant, his body radiating an overwhelming aura. With a crazed expression, he declares that this is revenge for Aqua's death, despite being the one who killed her. Revenge for Aqua's death? Kang Han-soo's gaslighting the giant he just poisoned her for. A colossal explosion of purple energy erupts from Kang Han-soo's body, completely engulfing the giant. A glowing pearl, Ululu's core, is being ejected from the blast. The Saintess is blown back by the force of the explosion, calling out, "Aqua!" She rushes to Aqua's side, trying to revive her. As the Saintess places a glowing hand on Aqua's chest, she begins to revive her. Aqua suddenly sits up, spitting out the remnants of the poison as the Saintess looks on in shock. An enraged Aqua jumps to her feet, screaming for the hero. The Saintess happily exclaims that she's back. Aqua frantically looks around, demanding to know what happened and where Kang Han-soo is. The Saintess explains that she was busy reviving her, and meanwhile, Sieg looks on with an uncertain expression. From a distance, Sieg looks on at the now still form of the giant, thinking to himself that Kang Han-soo has managed to stop Ululu. The giant's massive, unmoving hand lies limp and bleeding on the ground. The creature's hand weakly reaches forward as it lets out a soft final "Ululu." Our guy stands atop the fallen giant's body, looking down at it with a sense of disappointment, remarking, "What a bummer." He tells the defeated creature that if they had met before his encounter with Nebius, they probably would have made a great team. Teaming up with a catfish titan? Kang Han-soo's dreaming of a monster buddy cop flick. His expression darkens as he's enveloped in a menacing purple aura, adding, "But not right now." He declares that he doesn't need a Ghost Dragon King Season 2 at the moment. He raises his foot and brings it down in a powerful stomp on the giant's head, shouting, "You can take your leave!" Our guy's final blow crushes Ululu's head, ending the battle. He thinks that this is all for his diploma, causing the giant's core to explode in a massive blast of energy. Standing over the defeated Ululu, our guy lets out a sigh of relief as a purple aura dissipates around him. A status window appears showing that Kang Han-soo's level has skyrocketed to 750. He thinks to himself that he might have leveled up too much. Level 750? Kang Han-soo's over-leveled like he's grinding for a speedrun world record. He examines his status window and reassures himself that his level is still low enough to easily defeat the Demon King Pedonar. He muses that his skill ranks were already high, so he doesn't think any of them changed, but then trails off with a surprised, "Huh?" He sees that one skill did in fact change ranks. A simplified status window shows his black box skill has leveled up from F to E. He looks closer at his status, noticing that there is even a new effect. The skill's description is displayed, revealing the new Rank E effect. You do not get destroyed. He questions the meaning of this. He rips his own skin to check for any changes to his body. Seeing his unharmed arm, he concludes that the new effect isn't referring to his physical body, especially since he already has a monstrous recovery skill. Ripping his own skin to test a skill? Kang Han-soo's commitment to self-harm science is next level. Lanavel flies towards him with a cheerful shout of, "Hero!" However, before she can hug him, our guy shoves her away by the face, telling her to stop acting cute. Lanavel's hug attempt denied? Kang Han-soo's anti-cute force field is fully operational. Lanavel complains as raindrops begin to fall on her and Kang Han-soo. A heavy downpour begins, soaking the battlefield. Lanavel looks up at the sky in amazement, realizing that the legend about Ululu causing rain was true. He killed the creature without giving it a chance to cry, yet it is still raining. He watches his companions in the distance, seemingly deep in thought. Aqua, now fully recovered, expresses her disbelief that Kang Han-soo actually defeated the giant. The Saintess asks if Aqua is all right, but she reassures her, saying she just feels a bit weird. Aqua looks at the fallen giant and reflects on how it had hindered her ancestors for over 500 years, and how even the former hero had given up on it. She turns to look at Kang Han-soo, a grudging smile on her face as she admits that he is really strong. Aqua's grudging respect? Kang Han-soo's catfish-crushing flex finally won her over. The Saintess agrees, letting out a sigh. She looks at Aqua with a concerned expression, noticing a change in her demeanor. Aqua, now with a sparkling gem on her forehead, looks on with a dazed and blushing expression. The Saintess is completely shocked, exclaiming, "No way, you—" Aqua asks what's wrong, but the Saintess, clutching her head in agony, insists that it's nothing. Sieg suddenly declares that he will protect Aqua, to which she replies with a confused, "Thanks anyway." Sieg's knight in shining armor act? Aqua's like, "Nice try, level 3." As foretold, just as the legend predicted, the rain soon became a heavy downpour, and there was no longer any need to fight over the lake. The drought that had threatened the entire continent was resolved in one fell swoop. All the kingdoms in the central continent are busy praising the hero, and a subordinate confirms this. Our guy leans back, resting on a massive pile of gold coins, content thinking to himself that he can finally graduate this time. Meanwhile, in the dark, ominous chamber, our guy lounges casually on top of his pile of gold, while the Lord Chancellor and the Queen kneel before him. A troubling thought crosses his mind. But when is this rain going to stop? Chilling on a gold pile with endless rain, our guy's victory lap's getting a bit too soggy.
Now our guy lies on the floor of a leaking palace hallway, lamenting how the reputation he had hoped to build instantly became one of infamy. He wonders aloud what he is supposed to do now. The Saintess and Aqua look down at him. Aqua asks if he is still in this state, noting that he looks worse every time she checks on him. She complains about the leaky palace, but the Saintess warns her to be careful with her words to avoid causing a diplomatic incident. Leaky palace, soggy hero? Kang Han-soo's victory parade's turning into a wet blanket. Meanwhile, a flashback begins, taking place 10 days prior, right after Ululu was defeated. In the pouring rain, our guy and La Nouvelle cheer on top of the fallen giant's body, celebrating their victory. Sieg stands in the rain, looking on silently. He clenches his fist, resolving that he can't just stand by and do nothing. With a look of determination, he declares that this is his time to shine. Aqua calls Kang Han-soo a hero thug. He retorts by calling her a fish. He brushes off her insult, saying he'll let it slide because he's in a good mood. Hero thug versus fish? Kang Han-soo and Aqua's insult game is peak playground banter. Aqua confronts him, reminding him that he has already killed her twice. She angrily asks if he thought she would let it slide, but he coolly replies, "What if I did?" He smirks and says, "Well." Aqua cuts him off, snapping, "You think I'll just let you go after all the experience I lost? Don't be ridiculous." Aqua suddenly lunges at him, declaring that if you kill and save someone, you have to take responsibility for them for the rest of your life. Our guy struggles to push her away, shouting at her to get her fishy arms off him. For instance, just like a lion that finds its prey, he had forgotten why she was working at the lake town.
Her job is to find suitable mates for the merfolk, including herself. As a member of the royal family, her standards are very high, and she would only be satisfied with a mate of at least level 600. A status window for our guy appears, showing his level is now 750. He lets out a horrified, "Oh no," realizing that another troublesome person has become attached to him. Level 750 and a mermaid fiancé? Kang Han-soo's got a catfish-sized clingy problem now. Aqua declares that she will hunt him to the ends of the world if he tries to run away. As Kang Han-soo struggles to break free from Aqua, Zieg calls out to him. Kang Han-soo snaps back, "What is it? Don't hold back, just say it." With determination, he declares that he's decided to set out on a journey to find the legendary Holy Sword. Zieg turns to the Saintess, his eyes sparkling with horror. He asks the Saintess to join him on his hero's journey. She bluntly rejects his offer, saying that it's not possible. A shocked Zieg can only utter, "What?" The Saintess, while holding a blushing Aqua, tells Zieg to not misunderstand. She declares that from now on, she will protect Aqua and will not let that filthy hero touch her. And find the Holy Sword on your own. A distraught Zieg protests, but the Saintess coldly tells him that his journey will contribute to his growth. Thus, this is how Aqua and Saintess A joined our guy's party. The drought was resolved by the rains, and Kang Han-soo was praised by all the kingdoms. However, this praise only lasted for 5 days before his reputation began to decline due to the ensuing floods. 10 days later, the unprecedented downpour finally stopped. The sun shines brightly in a clear blue sky. Kang Han-soo looks up at the sky with a smug, satisfied expression. He remarks that it's perfect weather to cut a Demon King's throat and wonders if he should move on to the 4th round. Perfect weather for Demon King slaying? Kang Han-soo's ready to slice and dice his way to graduation. Professor Morals appears before him, reminding him that the Demon King is not a consolation prize for a makeup test. Our guy greets her with a smirk, saying, "You showed up the moment the vacation got ruined." She offers her condolences for his loss and chides him for throwing away the haft just because he lost the axe head. She points out that on the bright side, he solved the drought and freed the merfolk. Our guy is surprised by this positive spin. He furiously protests, claiming that he was tricked and used by the evil mermaids who shattered his reputation. Evil mermaids tanked his rep? Kang Han-soo is blaming the fish squad for his PR nightmare. Professor Morals calmly tells him that it's not over yet. She explains that his reputation is based on how people see him, and now that he has their attention, he could appease them by doing another good deed. A thoughtful Kang Han-soo considers this. Professor Morals offers Kang Han-soo a suggestion. She proposes that he help with his friend's growth. Meanwhile, back at the training camp, a completely exhausted Zieg groans, saying he can't do this anymore. The Knight Commander Alex looks on with concern. He shouts at the exhausted Zieg to stand up, reminding him that the journey to find the Holy Sword will be much harder than this. The kingdom has given Zieg a lot of support, but his recent actions have disappointed the nobles and the king. Alex warns him that he will likely not receive any more support from the kingdom. Despite this, Alex passionately declares his unwavering belief in Zieg and urges him to become the one true hero who can obtain the Holy Sword. He coughs, then adds that he believes Zieg will even be able to defeat the Demon King. Since he is still too weak, he must believe everything he says in order to succeed in his training. A terrified Zieg looks on as Alex's words echo around him. Alex is hyping Zieg like he's the chosen one, but level 3's sweating bullets. Our guy observes the scene and thinks to himself that Zieg might die before he even gets any stronger. A sly smile appears on his face as he wonders if he should give Zieg a little break. A break for Zieg? Kang Han-soo's sly grin says he's plotting something way shadier than rest.
A woman in high heels steps forward as Alex tells Zieg to get it together. He flips Zieg into the air, shouting that he's nowhere near done with his training. Meanwhile, the Queen and her guards arrive at the training camp. The Knight Commander Alex stands behind Zieg and asks if he still hasn't learned his lesson and yells at him to get up. Alex warns him that he will never beat him at this rate. The Queen calls out to Captain Alex as he lifts the exhausted Zieg. Alex looks up in surprise at the Queen. He is forced to kneel before her, still holding on to the unconscious Zieg. She admits that her words may be empty, coming from someone who knows nothing of battle.
Alex protests, "There's no way, Your Majesty," and pledges to fulfill any order she gives. Alex is kneeling while holding a passed-out Sieg. Talk about multitasking loyalty. The Queen looks down at him with a slight smirk playing on her lips as she begins to explain the mission, starting with its location under the palace, the deep sewers beneath the palace. She explains that there have been ominous rumors about the sewers lately. She asks Alex to remove the source of these rumors so that her people can rest assured. Alex bows his head in acceptance of the mission. With a fierce determination, he declares that it is a knight's duty to protect the kingdom. Knightly duty in the sewers? Alex is signing up for a stinky kind of heroism. Sieg raises his hand and volunteers for the mission. Alex looks on in surprise. Sieg, still recovering from his intense training, weakly declares that he will help too. Alex looks at him with a mix of surprise and concern. The Queen smiles and says that if it is what the hero wishes, then she will allow it. Sieg is beaming with joy. Both Alex and Sieg kneel before the Queen, pledging to follow her orders. The Queen wishes them both good luck as her attendants applaud. A pleased Sieg rubs his nose, basking in the Queen's praise. Sieg's basking in royal praise? Level 3's acting like he's already got the holy sword. Kang Han-soo applauds, seemingly impressed by the display. With a smug and knowing smile on his face, he thinks Sieg must have realized by now that he will always be Alex's sandbag if he continues on his current path. He continues, thinking that what Sieg needs is EXP, which is why he has prepared a special event just for him. He happily claps, adding a final ominous condition: as long as you don't get killed by overdoing it. A special EXP event for Sieg. Kang Han-soo is cooking up a death trap with a side of smug. Kang Han-soo leans out of a tower window and casually asks Alex and Sieg if they want to join their mission. Alex and Sieg vehemently shout "No" in unison, rejecting his offer. Our guy waves goodbye as they depart, thinking to himself that he did what he could and that it was their decision to refuse his help. Synchronized no from Alex and Sieg, Kang Han-soo's help is the one quest they're dodging. Meanwhile, a massive army of knights in golden armor marches in perfect formation. Commander Alex announces that their target is in the palace sewers, reminding them not to let their guards down, as per the Queen's orders. He continues that their enemy is trapped inside with no other way out. With a passionate shout, he rallies the knights to put their knight's honor on the line for this mission. Alex concludes his rousing speech, ordering the knights to complete the mission. A determined Sieg stands among the armored knights, ready for battle. Alex gives the order to move it, and the knights charge forward, rushing towards the sewer entrance. As they advance, the scene transitions to the dark, grimy interior of the sewer. Our guy thinks to himself that he did what he could. He gave the knights all the necessary information, including the target's location and the dangers they would face, and even the way to get inside. Kang Han-soo is playing mission control, but something tells me he's left out the fine print. Alex flinches as he hears a scream from deeper within the sewers. He immediately orders his men to charge in the direction of the scream, noting that he heard the scream coming from this direction. However, our guy, Kang Han-soo, intentionally withheld one crucial piece of information from the knights. The most important piece of information. A creature rises to its full height, towering over the terrified heroes. It swallows a piece of debris, its strange, lumpy form unsettling. It transforms, revealing a grotesque, bird-like form with multiple glowing red eyes. Alex and Sieg are frozen in fear, completely shocked by the monster's true form. The information that Kang Han-soo withheld was the boss's level. Namely, the monster was a level 450 chimera.
Alex rallies his troops, ordering them not to be scared and to get into battle formation. Sieg and the other knights look on with apprehension, breathing heavily in the tense atmosphere. The grotesque chimera lets out a horrifying screech, its lumpy body and multiple red eyes filling the knights with dread. Yet the royal knights stand their ground, facing the terrifying monster head-on. Alex shouts, reminding them that the hero is the kingdom's last hope. With a look of fierce determination, he swears on his knight's honor that he will get Sieg back safely. He lets out a powerful war cry of, "Let's go!" and charges towards the chimera.
And so, that's how 3 days have passed since the battle began. Ah, yes, because nothing says epic 3-day war like a quick montage and zero details. Classic Manhwa efficiency. The scene shifts to a bustling tavern, filled with cheerful patrons. A bartender offers a young man a free beer, telling him it's courtesy of hero Han-soo. A patron raises his mug and shouts a toast to hero Kang Han-soo. The entire tavern erupts in a massive cheers! Hero Kang Han-soo stands on a couch leading the celebration, while a dejected Zieg sits alone at a table. Kang Han-soo clears his throat, getting everyone's attention. He proposes a toast for the late Captain Alex. A tearful Zieg looks down at his mug, overwhelmed with grief. Once again, the tavern erupts in a loud cheers! Our guy thinks in his mind, Alex died. He honestly didn't think Alex would die. The Chimera's level was higher than Alex's. However, the gap in their levels could have been overcome with numbers or skills. The only problem was the variable, a variable called Zieg. To save the hero, Alex gave up on his own escape and fought recklessly. Everyone was so horribly beaten that even the Saintess couldn't revive them. It's not like Zieg's the only hero around, those stupid tin men. Two patrons comment on the hero's big heart, noting that Alex always cursed him behind his back. They whisper about what a great person hero Han-soo is. Kang Han-soo, still drunk, glances over at the grieving Zieg. Our guy drunkenly pats a crying Zieg on the back, telling him, there. Two patrons in the tavern comment on what a nice guy the hero is for comforting Zieg. He tells Zieg that since he killed the boss that ate Alex, in a way, Alex now lives on inside of him. This bizarre logic only confuses the other patrons, because nothing heals a fresh grave like a side of existential cannibalism. Profound stuff, Han-soo. Kang Han-soo gives Zieg a bright, cheerful thumbs up and tells him to cheer up. Zieg begins to sob uncontrollably. He throws a tantrum, wailing Alex's name and knocking over his mug. An annoyed Kang Han-soo complains that this is what he gets for trying to comfort him. He thinks to himself that the effort was a total loss, as a status window for Zieg appears, showing he has leveled up to 125. His level went up a lot from the recent battle. Nevertheless, they can work on his overall defense skills later. Lanavel observes that Zieg must have relied on Alex a lot, despite seeming to hate him. Our guy internally groans that another annoying person is approaching and replies, "You mean like how you act all cute?" Lanavel puffs out her cheeks, protesting that she isn't acting and was simply born cute. Our guy bursts out laughing at her claim. She angrily asks why he's laughing, and he retorts that it was the funniest thing he's heard all day. Self-proclaimed cuteness, the ultimate plot armor for side characters. The one thing that went wrong with his plan was the death of the Royal Knights. He laments that the bus drivers he needed for EXP hunting have all died, which is a big loss for him. Still, he reassures himself that he has other plans. Lanavel slams a large stack of empty mugs on the table, letting out a loud burp. Our guy panics, yelling at her for drinking so much and warning her that she'll die and so will his wallet. He wonders what to do with the drunk and rowdy Lanavel, who is now demanding more beer from the bartender. Our guy slams his hand down on the table in frustration. Suddenly, a loud slam echoes through the room, irritating our guy. A drunken Zieg cries out Alex's name in grief. He leaps onto a table, overcome with emotion. With tears streaming down his face, he makes a solemn vow to carry on Alex's dreams and will. He passionately declares that he will embark on his quest right now. Zieg runs out of the tavern, leaving everyone in stunned silence. Our guy and a still drunk Lanavel watch him go. Our guy wonders if Zieg has been drinking, even though he's a minor. He questions if he's serious about his sudden declaration. Or perhaps, is he still going through puberty? Puberty plus plot convenience, the deadliest combo in any isekai. Meanwhile, on a bright and sunny morning, birds chirp outside the royal palace. Inside, our guy is fast asleep in a luxurious bed, snoring loudly. Lanavel bursts into the room with a cheerful shout, startling a terrified Kang Han-soo awake. A groggy Kang Han-soo groans and pulls the covers over his head, asking how she can be so energetic after drinking so much and pleading for her to leave. Lanavel excitedly tells him that it's no time to be harsh because hero Zieg has gotten a girl. Our guy immediately sits up, his interest piqued and his expression one of pure shock. Lanavel enthusiastically clarifies that Zieg didn't just get one girl, but 3. She asks if it isn't amazing, and our guy was like, "Nani?" Thinking that it's not just amazing, but miraculous, and wonders how Zieg managed it. He wonders how Zieg could have possibly gotten a girl while he was supposedly busy getting beaten up every day during his training. He will have to postpone his plans of slaying the Demon King. Our guy is left completely bewildered and thoughtful, a finger pressed to his chin as he tries to process the unbelievable news. From zero to hero him in record time, Zieg's out here speedrunning the rom-com arc while the world's ending. Priorities, right?
A total of 3 new people have joined Sieg's party. The first new member is introduced as a priest, who is also the cheerful daughter of a famous count. The second member is an archer, a serious-looking elf who was formerly a slave. The third and final new member is a mysterious hooded thief. According to Lonwell, all 3 of the new party members are young and beautiful. Because of course, every adventuring party needs a mandatory quota of gorgeous recruits. It's practically in the fantasy handbook. While sitting on his bed, our guy tells Lonwell that he finds the new party composition very interesting, and she enthusiastically agrees. He would have gone to investigate the new party members in a flash if it weren't for the mess Alex made. Indeed, if Alex was so intent on saving the hero, he could have just died alone. He questions why Alex had to take the entire Royal Knights unit with him to their deaths. This won't do, he thinks. He worries that the secret of him ruling the kingdom will eventually come out. An image of an angry mob blaming him for the kingdom's troubles flashes through his mind as he worries about what will happen to his reputation and grades if the kingdom is in a bad state when his secret is revealed. He concludes that his reputation and grades will be doomed. Suddenly, he jumps up, realizing that the kingdom's situation is already bad enough because of the flood. Lonwell peeks out from a doorway and asks if he isn't going to follow Sieg. Kang Hun-soo incredulously asks if she's crazy, questioning who will take care of his reputation and the kingdom in his absence. He shouts in frustration, questioning the deaths of the royal knights and for whom did Alex die, pointing out that Sieg is irresponsibly going on a trip with girls instead of taking responsibility. Sieg's out here collecting a harem while the kingdom crumbles. Truly the hero we all deserve. Moreover, he scoffs at the fact that Sieg has a grade A for his character, questioning if the faculty has lost their minds. Professor Morals appears, defending Sieg and stating that he isn't running away from his responsibilities. She explains that he is trying to pay back the kindness he received by becoming stronger on his journey. Our guy retorts, asking who will protect the kingdom in Sieg's absence. Professor Morals concludes that they can only hope Sieg gets stronger soon. Our guy, however, finds this approach too lax. He internally criticizes the faculty's carelessness as Professor Morals floats away. He thinks to himself that the palace is currently an empty shell. He knows that the kingdom is vulnerable to outside invasions, and that even he could take the throne with a single order. He scoffs at the naivety of the idiot Sieg, who doesn't even consider the possibility of the kingdom falling, as if the peace he achieved was always there. Professor Morals advises him not to be so negative, stating that their soul's character is what makes them happy. She adds that having a positive outlook on the future is key, but Kang Han-soo dismisses this as being delusional. He understands what she's trying to say, yet her approach makes her no different than a gambler. With a look of intense determination, our guy declares that he is different. He resolves to look straight at the present and lead the future himself as he steps forward with purpose. Positive thinking? Sounds like a one-way ticket to Disappointment City. Kang Han-soo's not buying it. This is why he has prepared this. They are all equipped with skill sets specifically designed for combat. However, they all lack experience. A B-rank demon would have originally put them through a harsh training process, where only 100 soldiers would have survived out of the original 10,000. He scoffs at the inefficiency of this method, calling a 1% survival rate a waste. He tells the assembled warriors that there is no longer a need for the royal knights, and that they are now the future of the kingdom. He decides that he will not waste any manpower. He proclaims that he will give the worthless and nameless trash before him a chance to prove themselves. He commands the warriors to grow stronger and to earn a name for themselves. He will show them the way as his dark aura envelops them. The warriors are transformed by his power, their bodies cracking and reshaping. He announces the birth of the Dark Knights. A status window for one of the transformed warriors is shown. Their race is now Dark Human. Their class is Champion.
and their status is transformation, blind faith, and glory. He thinks this is the power of an SS-ranked demonic aura skill. Nothing screams trustworthy leader like turning your troops into edgy demon hybrids with a side of blind devotion. Bold move, Kang Han-soo. Our guy tells the new Dark Knights that they have been reborn and asks if they have his faith. The Dark Knights, now with demonic features, roar in unison. Yes, sir! Our guy tells them that he will now show them a suitable hunting ground. He gives them their orders. They have 1 month to level up to 200, as if their lives depend on it. He adds that it doesn't matter if they fail. As the Dark Knights charge into battle, he shouts, "The weaklings have a weakling's job to carry out." With a satisfied smile, he thinks to himself that this makes up for the lost manpower from the Royal Knights. 1 month from now, he will go on his own quest to restore his reputation. He will be going to the place he was heading to. He thinks to himself that he can always just kill the Demon King if things don't go according to plan. Lanwell suddenly appears, startling Kang Han-soo and praising him for his amazing plan. She gushes over his performance, saying he was so scary I thought he was the Demon King incarnate. Our guy deadpans and asks if she's actually seen the Demon King. When she cheerfully replies that she hasn't, he explodes in anger, shouting at her to stop talking. He furiously accuses her of being the type of person who spreads false rumors and ruins his reputation. Lanwell, the walking rumor mill, because who needs enemies when you've got her cheerful gossip? Our guy reflects on his past, stating that he still doesn't understand the reputation grade he received in his second trial. He eradicated the demons. Despite this, his reputation plummeted. He assesses his current grades, dismissing his combat ability and planning to kill the Elf King again for his achievement score. He acknowledges that his reputation is facing imminent doom, but sees no problem with his character. He focuses on the urgent need to fix the reputation that Ululu ruined, knowing that failure will result in a 4th trial. He remembers that Lanwell was useless for public manipulation during his second trial. His new plan involves using demon worshippers, who are more numerous and skilled than Lanwell, to sway public opinion. He internally scoffs at how easy it is to fool these stupid savages. Indeed, it's only a matter of time before he can manipulate public opinion to his liking. He declares that the Dark Knight's public manipulation and the restoration of his reputation grade will begin in this very kingdom. Because nothing says heroic comeback like a PR campaign run by demon worshippers. Kang Han-soo's guide to winning hearts and minds, everyone.
Sieg has begun his journey, helping villagers who thank him for his kindness. He peacefully resolves a conflict with a dragon, offering it food and explaining that there's no need for them to fight. His party members laugh and call him weird, but he takes it in stride, happily accepting their teasing. Sieg out here making friends with dragons while the rest of us are just trying to survive Monday? Talk about overachieving. Lenouvel shows our guy a crystal ball displaying Sieg's recent heroic deeds, calling it her weekly report. He looks on with a bored and unimpressed expression, thinking to himself, what a joke. Meanwhile, 2 months have passed, and it has been 2 weeks since they set out for Ululu's destination. Raising the small fries for his character grade has been going smoothly. She asks our guy if it's okay for them to be slaying all the monsters they encounter. She explains that former heroes only killed monsters that did evil deeds. He retorts that this is why the world is in such a terrible state, complaining that people only act when someone asks for help. He tells her to look at Sieg's example. Suddenly, he realizes something, that people ask for help after they've been harmed, and a hero comes to save the day. People then praise the hero for responding to their call. But if the danger is taken care of in advance, there is no need for a hero. He realizes that he, not Sieg, has been acting like a foolish charity worker. He turns to Lenouvel and admits that she has made a valid point. He takes a deep breath as he contemplates what a hero truly needs for their reputation. Wow, Kang Han-soo having an epiphany? Somebody mark the calendar. This is rarer than a dragon signing a peace treaty. With a dark, sinister expression, our guy lists the SS-ranked dangers: chaos, destruction, and oblivion. He states that the one thing a hero needs for their reputation is danger. A massive wave of dark energy labeled chaos erupts from him and spreads across the land. The chaotic energy sweeps through the peaceful forest. Birds fly away in a panic as the rumbling intensifies.
A horde of monsters, including goblins, ogres, and other beasts, is fleeing in terror from the approaching chaos. A massive rumbling sound emanates from a forest, heading towards a nearby city. City guards on the wall panic, realizing that a monster stampede is approaching from the direction of a loud roar. One guard shouts to alert the Lord, while another wonders in terror if the legendary Ghost Dragon King has awakened after 500 years. Our guy wears a wide, triumphant grin, mentally congratulating his trusted comrade Nevius for the instant results. Nothing says heroic like unleashing a monster stampede to boost your PR. Kang Han-soo's got a real knack for chaos management. A dizzy and shocked Saintess asks the hero if he has lost his mind. She furiously questions how a hero could attack a human city just for the sake of his reputation, but he tells her to stop talking nonsense. He innocently claims that he just sneezed a little hard because he's allergic to a bad reputation. As the Saintess looks on in disbelief, Kang Han-soo rallies his party, telling them it's time to go save the city. In the city streets, a knight on horseback shouts orders, telling the people to send the signal, ring the bell, and for anyone who can fight to arm themselves. The villagers frantically slam their doors and windows shut, preparing for the impending attack. A mother clutches her crying baby and runs through the streets in a desperate attempt to find safety. A terrified child clings to an adult's leg, and then our guy is seen shouting out to everyone in fear. He stands heroically atop the city wall, looking down at the panicked crowd and shouting, "Do not worry!" With a brilliant smile, he confidently declares, "Leave everything to me, Hero Kang Han-soo." His party members look up at him and ask what they should do. He orders them to guard the castle doors. He scoffs at the power of friendship, sarcastically muttering about the power of my butt. Power of friendship? Nah, Kang Han-soo's riding the power of sheer audacity, way more reliable. A colossal monster foot slams down just outside the wall, causing the ground to rumble violently. The massive monster stampede continues to rumble and charge towards the city. He impatiently taps his fingers as he watches the approaching horde, casually thinking to himself, "I miss Endymion." As the rumbling of the approaching stampede intensifies, he gets into a fighting stance. He strikes a cute, sparkling pose, cheerfully exclaiming, "Hiya!" But the impact was massive. An explosion erupts from the cute strikes. The skill, Massacre, activates. A detailed description of the Massacre skill is shown, highlighting its various ranks and effects, with the SS rank providing damage over a wide area. With a sinister grin and surrounded by a dark purple aura, he declares, "Here I go!" He runs and punches, unleashing his cute, powerful punch, chanting, "1, 2, 1, 2." The monsters are caught in the blast, crying out in pain as they are obliterated by the explosions. A lone Cyclops emerges from the smoke and dust, letting out a pained cry. It charges forward, ready to attack, but he swiftly uppercuts the massive creature, sending it flying into the air. He effortlessly holds the falling giant up with one hand. He dusts off his hands, remarking on how nice and clean the kill was. A city guard announces to the citizens that the city has been saved by Hero Han-soo. He tells the people that they can rest assured and return to their homes. Kang Han-soo basks in the praise of the crowd, introducing himself as Hero Kang Han-soo, before being abruptly awoken from his fantasy. He looks around in confusion. In the streets, a crowd of people clamors for the hero. A large crowd surrounds Sieg and his new party, asking if he's all right. A villager explains that Sieg saved a child from being run over by a carriage, calling him our hero. In a dark, shadowy space, our guy watches as the crowd repeatedly chants Sieg's name. His eyes widen in a mix of shock and rage. Lenouvel and Aqua praise Kang Han-soo's amazing performance in saving the town. He admits to Lenouvel that he was wrong from the start, much to her confusion. He realized the truth doesn't matter to these foolish residents. Sieg saves one kid and suddenly he's the town's golden boy? Meanwhile, Kang Han-soo's out here punching Cyclopses and getting zero fanfare. Justice is blind, folks. With a dark, determined expression, he declares that it's a cold war from now on. Indeed, he resolves to achieve an SS rank for his reputation, no matter what it takes.
Our guy's press manipulation worked wonderfully. Townspeople start to murmur about how great hero Hansu is. Rumors spread about the recent flood, claiming it was Sieg's fault, not Hansu's. He has successfully labeled Sieg as a wild playboy. Townspeople gossip about Sieg spending all his time playing with girls. The people praise hero Hansu for being mature in comparison, even citing his heroic act of kicking a beautiful woman's butt as proof. Because nothing screams mature hero like a well-placed kick to the backside, truly the pinnacle of chivalry. He revels in his successful manipulation, having crafted the image of an unwavering hero of steel. He stands on a cliff with his party, confidently stating that he has thrown in more than enough bait. Lanyeville tells him that she thinks this is the spot. With a confident smirk, Kang Hansu agrees it's time for the final blow. Kang Hansu and his party walk along a narrow strip of land extending into the lake, as the name Ululululululu echoes from the depths. The Sanctus expresses her disbelief, stating that the rumor about a beautiful woman guarding a sacred sword at the bottom of the ocean must be false. She explains that there is only one sacred sword in the world, so the rumor must be something a local fisherman made up. Kang Hansu casually dismisses her concerns, admitting that while it might be a false rumor, this was Ululu's destination. He points out that the mysterious cry they are hearing is more than enough reason to investigate. A blushing Aqua offers to dive in and check, but Kang Hansu stops her. He tells her to stay out of it, reminding her that she is a freshwater mermaid and this is the ocean. Poor Aqua, sidelined by her own biology. Guess mermaids need to check the water's salt content before signing up for heroics. With a final push, he dives into the water himself, leaving his companions behind. He descends into the dark, deep abyss, a lone hand reaching out into the unknown. As he descends into the deep, dark water, he follows a glowing red light, hearing a mysterious, ethereal cry. He swims deeper into the abyss, his form silhouetted against the dark water. He peers over a ledge into an even deeper, darker part of the ocean. A voice from the depths calls out to the hero of the present and tells him to step back. He looks down in surprise as he is addressed. The voice declares that the Guardian is here. A beautiful and powerful Arc Mermaid appears, her status window revealing her to be a level 999 plus Guardian. She offers to send him home safely if he steps back now. With a confident grin, he challenges her, asking, "And if I don't want to?" The Arc Mermaid tells Kang Hansu that his wish will never come true. She explains that he won't remember anything as she lunges forward to attack him. A massive wave of energy erupts from her as she attacks, but Kang Hansu is nowhere to be seen. The Arc Mermaid continues her spell, declaring that he will wake up on a beach with no memories and continue his adventure. A powerful crack sound echoes through the water as the Arc Mermaid's attack is suddenly interrupted. Our guy appears behind her and asks what she was saying about his memories, calling her an expensive fish. Expensive fish? Harsh, but points for style. Kang Hansu stot a knack for savage nicknames. A status window for his black box skill appears, reminding him of its rank E effect, you do not get destroyed, and rank F effect, you do not forget. The Arc Mermaid looks on in utter shock, unable to comprehend how he resisted her memory-wiping attack. He casually remarks that one hit wasn't enough to take her down. With a crazed, sadistic grin, he declares that he'll just have to beat her until she faints. A series of thwack and crack sounds are heard as Kang Hansu brutally beats the Arc Mermaid. After the beating, he casually swims away, leaving the unconscious mermaid behind. He swims through the deep ocean, thinking to himself that the secret area should be around here somewhere. The ground begins to rumble from a large, oddly shaped rock formation. He confirms his suspicion, thinking, "I knew it." He excitedly exclaims that a guardian is always a pass to a secret area, and thanks the unconscious mermaid for guiding him. He wonders if he might have been to this place before during his first trial. He enters a shabbily decorated underwater cave, noting that his memories could have been wiped clean since he didn't have the black box back then. He looks around the cave and notices a strange pulsating coral formation in the corner. He peers through the strange coral and is shocked by what he sees. A beautiful red, heart-themed sword is revealed, surrounded by a dark, pulsating aura. He realizes that the legend was true. A beautiful mermaid with long, flowing purple hair is peacefully asleep cradling another sacred sword. A status window identifies her as a level 9 Chaos Mermaid and a Sea King. He excitedly exclaims that he loves the color of the new sword. He reaches out to take the sword from the sleeping mermaid. Suddenly, Professor Morals cries out in a flash of purple energy, shouting at him to wait. She appears before him, looking shocked and concerned. Our guy casually greets her, saying, "I thought it was about time she showed up." He extends his hand. He triumphantly holds the new sacred sword, telling Professor Morals that she is too late. His level has jumped to 936, and his status is now Criminal Absorption Sacred Sword. Professor Morals angrily berates him, reminding him that he can only fit one sword in a sheath and questioning why he would steal a defect that we had sealed away. Kang Han-soo is confused by the term defect, and Professor Morals explains that he will never be able to wield the original sacred sword. He scoffs at her concern, pointing out that he had to kill the guardian of humanity in self-defense and almost lost all his memories in the process. Professor Morals furiously accuses him of being an armed robber. He nonchalantly replies that stealing and looting is a hero's virtue, and that Sieg was also good at it. Looting as a heroic virtue. Kang Han-soo's rewriting the hero handbook, and it's got chaotic neutral written all over it. A defeated Professor Morals disappears, muttering that she might get transferred to a new job. He looks down at the sleeping Chaos Mermaid, who is now calling out Ululu's name in her sleep. He looks on, bubbles rising around him as he contemplates his next move. He decides it's time to leave the underwater cave. He emerges from the water with a splash, returning to his companions on the shore. A flustered Lanyvel runs up to him, exclaiming that she has bad news. He casually asks, "What's all the fuss about?" She explains that the Elf King has declared war on the humans after seeing his daughter sold off as a slave, and that Sieg has sided with the elves. He realizes that he didn't save the elf princess Sylvia in this timeline, which has led to this new conflict. A terrified Lanyvel lets out a small scream. Our guy places a hand on her head and tells her to have faith in him. Then he bursts into a crazed, maniacal laugh. He declares that he has a great plan, but Lanyvel, horrified by his expression, tells him that he looks disgusting. Maniacal laughter and a great plan. Kang Han-soo is about to make this war look like his personal chessboard. Lanyvel's just along for the unhinged ride.